The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Well, damn. That's it. That is it. The weekend has come and, by God, gone. So we're back to this. Welcome to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We appreciate you very, very much. Man, I got this strange craving this morning, Josh.
For what?
I'll let you know here in a second.
I go through that sometimes.
I have a request for you.
How can I help?
Let me know where you stand on this. Maybe craving wasn't the right word because you instantly think of food.
That's what I thought you were going to.
This isn't appetite related. This isn't food related. But craving's the only word I can come up with. I have a request for you. Could you play me some really, really loud Scottish or Irish folk music? Folk music, maybe a couple of acoustic guitars, something Scottish, something Irish.
Now, here's the thing. I will do anything you want, ever. There's not a request you could give me that I wouldn't allow.
Right.
But I just can't do it anymore. I can't handle any more of it.
No.
A little bit of an
Even
inside.
if it's really good.
Even if it's great.
Yeah.
A little bit of an inside joke. I hate myself, absolutely hate myself for missing, again, somehow I missed our company Christmas party.
Oh. Well, the only reason you didn't go, if I could, back you up a little bit, is because you had no interest in going whatsoever. Otherwise, you would have been there.
If I would have had any interest at all, even a speck of interest in our company Christmas party, by damn, I would have been there.
I know you
But
would
I
have.
had none.
No, none whatsoever.
So I didn't go. And it's been a couple years in a row now that I've missed the company Christmas party. And again, Josh tells me that you had a good time, the food was good, you jaw-jacked with this person and that person.
Wapple and I closed it down.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
Nice, good for you.
Yeah, I even left before you. That's surprising.
And I let Josh leave after me, so he was even later.
Oh,
than
I didn't know you
was.
did that for me.
Yeah,
What a
yeah.
nice guy.
Yeah, like 30 seconds later than I left.
Party animal, Josh, you.
I know.
Yeah.
What I'm told is, again, Josh, you had to battle just off-the-charts loud folk music at the bar where the party was hosted. And so you're forced to shout at it. How's everything in the sales department?
You know I have a weak voice and pelvic floor. And so talking that loud for that long, it just destroys my voice.
You destroy your own voice. You exhaust yourself in a normal setting, let alone with
Right.
with the McGovern brothers or whoever are up on stage playing louder than hell Irish folk music.
They're a talented group.
Yeah?
But
Very.
They could be very talented, a lot quieter.
Yeah.
Or maybe go play in the basement.
In a larger venue.
They could be talented somewhere other than in a small room at our company Christmas party, you're saying.
And was it you, Ashley? Somebody, or maybe it was Dana's fiance. Someone was looking up, like the events that they have at this bar, right? To see online. Do they plan this in advance? Are they here every Friday night, or do we hire these guys to show up because they've been there year after year?
Yeah, they made jokes about it on stage. Like, oh, the radio station's back once again. Maybe we'll finally get discovered.
Yeah.
Well, it must...
Cute.
I don't know. Yeah, you guys have to tell me how long they've been in the mix at our company Christmas party. I haven't been to a company Christmas party in, I don't know, 5, 6, 7. I don't remember the overbearingly loud Irish folk songs. Was there a particular song that stuck in your head for a day or two after? Do you remember the words at all?
Well, I can tell you they all sounded the same to
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was one song, she's like, oh, this is my favorite Irish song.
Yeah, I knew it. It's called All For Me Grog. It's by Royal Bliss.
Oh,
I think
sure.
I think they cover it. I'm not sure who the original artist is, but
I remember, well, I think I said to you.
They're not the original?
yeah, I'm not sure. I think they cover. I think it's a cover actually.
What's the name of the song again?
All For Me Grog?
Oh, is it now? It's called All For Me. I'm not going to get into that, but
I had to ask Ashley, how can you tell the difference between everything else that's been played? And they have their own following.
good.
Every year.
Then take it to another bar.
They got groupies.
They do. There's a big table full of them, and man, were they hammered. There was one lady, I think she kept toasting ghosts. She's looking around, holding up her chalice or whatever it was she was drinking. I think she was drunk since maybe last Tuesday.
Well, I just had to run that by you. I wasn't there. I didn't get to experience what you folks did, but I had to poke fun at it a little bit because you had some of the same comments last year, and I've been in this situation as of recently as well, where this was a class reunion. It was like one of those almost damn near all class reunions. It was like at my old. It was at a bar in my neighborhood, in my hometown neighborhood. But it was everyone from the class of 70 all the way through 90 was invited to show up at this reunion. And I did. And we had a great time. But for some reason, there was also an extremely loud cover band playing at the venue the night of our reunion. Which, I mean, as soon as I saw them setting up the drum kits and the amplifiers, I said to my classmates, Jesus Christ, no,
Yeah.
Because we just want to talk, just sit and talk and drink and have a good time. And instead we're forced to holler at each other and exhaust ourselves just to have a conversation. So I sympathize because I was recently in that same setup.
The other part of the situation is you're talking to someone and you miss a sentence or so. It's so loud, so you have to ask them to say it again.
Oh.
But you only can do that like twice
Right.
before they hate your guts. So after a while, you're just kind of shaking your head and laughing, and hopefully they're not telling you about a pet that died or something like that.
Exactly. My hearing's shot as it is in just normal circumstances. So in a situation like that, I had no idea what anybody said to me all night long.
The new big boss was there. I talked to him for maybe 1 minute. He seemed annoyed, and then they were out going to Crab Shack or what's that? Smack Shack.
Smack Shack.
Oh, did he go with our boss, Derek?
Yeah.
Because Derek loves that place.
Yeah,
Do you
Derek.
think you may have annoyed him?
He just didn't seem interested at all.
Really?
Not at
oh,
all.
Oh, he seemed like he was in a great mood. Maybe I caught him earlier, and then by the time you talked to him, he was hangry.
No, you guys definitely. I saw him talking to you guys, and he looked like he was having fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got him early.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, that must be it.
I bet
Then
he
he
was
did that
exhausted.
big loop. He did that big loop all the way around to you, Josh. So you're probably the last one, and
I was.
He was over it at that point, probably.
He's kept saying, "Should we go to Smack Shack or what's the deal?"
I'm really
putting on
sorry
his
I
coat.
missed it. Really sorry I missed
That
it.
was fun. Food was good. It was a good year. It was probably one of the better years, I think.
Ah, the holidays.
It's funny because there was maybe, I don't know, what would you guys say, 50 people there?
Yeah, I'd say so.
In the whole bar?
Well, no. Of our crew, you goofball.
Oh, boy, I would say like 30.
Well, it seemed more to me because everybody brought a spouse or something like that. When you looked around, there was a lot of faces, and I thought, geez, do they work here? And
I was going through the same thing. Amber,
Yeah.
or my fiance, was like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
yeah, there was
Ask me.
I don't know most of the people around here, and there's not that many left. So.
No, it was
There's
mostly
really
spouses and stuff.
Sure. Well, there you go. Another company Christmas party in the books, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the holiday season.
Put up the tree last night.
Oh, was that right?
Nice. I'm glad you finally did that.
Yep, got it. Got her going.
Good.
Wife's been bugging me about it. Oh, has she?
Oh, I bet, dude. It's December 9th.
We don't put that stuff up as early as you do, November 1st, when you start going. See,
Before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You get yours going early.
Yeah, the longer it's up, the longer I get to enjoy it.
I got one of those buddies that just leaves it up year round.
We got a neighbor that does that.
Does he do the bit where he decorates the tree for different holidays?
No, he's just a single dude and lazy.
Yep.
No
I
rhyme or
know
reason
that.
to it. Just it's up. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, it's June.
Yeah,
I don't need to take it down now. Halfway around the horn.
Yeah, I got only 6 more months. Might as well leave it up.
That's just stupid.
When I met my boyfriend, I met him in, probably July. And, yeah, he had a Christmas tree up. I didn't even flinch, to be honest. I just figured, oh, yeah, dude, living all alone. That makes sense.
So here we are. Yeah, if Cubby's got the tree up, then, yeah, it's the holiday season. You ever hook up in your parents' house when you were home for the holidays?
See, I've never had that situation where I came back to stay with them, where I lived far enough where I couldn't just drive home.
Right.
Yeah, me either.
I don't think I have either. Over half of single people who are headed home this month will have sex in their parents' house if they have the opportunity. Yeah, I don't know if I ever had that situation either. Well, I suppose maybe the 1 year I was living up at St. Cloud State, I suppose I probably came home for the holidays for at least 1 or 2 or 3 days. And yeah, I probably had a partner at one point or another. It's just been so long. Over half of single people, like I said, who are headed home this month will go for it if the opportunity arises. Pin somebody. In a perfect scenario, you're pinning somebody in your childhood bed.
Why not?
I couldn't do that.
I never had the opportunity. I brought significant others home for the holidays, but I think I was halfway to St. Cloud State my freshman year, and my bedroom had been converted into an office. So it was
An office?
Yeah, my childhood bedroom was just gone. As soon as I was out the door.
Right. I
Did
guess
you bring your race card bed with you?
Yes,
in
I
your new
did.
place?
Put it up on put it up in the loft. Yep.
Yeah, I suppose I could say the same thing. I mean, my bedroom in high school, I didn't have a bedroom in high school. My bed was just in the middle of the basement. So when I got the hell out of there, they threw the bed away, and it became what it was meant to be, a basement. But anyway, I've mentioned before that whenever I would bring a pal back to my folks' place, well, specifically when I was living with my dad, when I was able to bring a lady back, my basement bedroom kind of a setup was so disgusting that I would usually bring him into the old man's room if he was out of... I mean, he was an over-the-road truck driver, so he was often gone. And I thought I was making the right move by bringing him into my dad's bedroom, which sure was a little bit cleaner, but not by much.
Oh, my, ew.
I probably should have just bit the bullet and said, look, my basement bedroom setup here is kind of disgusting, but this is all I got. I thought I was making the right move by bringing him into the old man's room. But looking back, I mean, I've told you this before, when the two of us, or maybe if I was lucky, 3 of us, when we would land down on his bed, cigarette smoke would puff up from the... I mean, his room was... It basically was an ashtray. And I can't believe that I never had a gal say anything to my face about it, but I remember it just reeked in there. It reeked, and the cigarette stains, ash stains. What do you call that? Where they burn a hole? Is there a word for that? There were the burn holes in the sheets and on the.
My gosh.
Well, yeah, because he smoked in bed.
I know, but these girls, I would have turned right around. I'd be like, dude, peace out.
They
No,
never
no.
said anything to my face. I'm guessing the next day they probably told their girlfriends, "My God, this dude is disgusting," and so was his dad. But
They probably went home and got yelled at for smelling like cigarettes by
probably.
their parents.
Oh, dude, I mean, it just, and a little more movement and the smoke would start. It was just gross. Everything about it was gross.
We had a similar, both of us grew up in basements that were wet, covered in bugs, but I had a brother and cousin, that shared that with me. So even with that situation, I don't think I could handle the guilt of defiling my parents' marital bed. I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be able to handle that.
Nah,
and I know
me
a
neither.
lot of people do because they always say, well, that's the best bed or that's the best bedroom.
Maybe if my folks were married at the time, maybe I would have had that thought, Josh. But my old man was hauling in broads every weekend, too. So, There wasn't anything sacred about his bedroom. You know what I mean? He had kind of a rotating door there as well. So,
oh, geez, Jesus said he plans on fapping in his childhood bedroom. Wants to know if that counts. Also, he's going to wait for the new owners to leave the house before he does it.
Good call.
He's courteous. Yeah.
now it says here in this conversation about hooking up for the holidays, for those of you single people who have that exact situation where you're living somewhere else, maybe you're going to school, you go back to your folks' place for the holidays, and you're looking to hook up with somebody. The majority of folks will hook up with someone they know, not someone they meet while they're home. So it's like an ex-girlfriend, a gal you went to high school with, a dude that you knew from this or that.
I was imagining like someone you bring with you, right?
Oh,
like
that could be too.
Your girlfriend or spouse, whatever it is.
30% of people said they've hooked up with someone during the holidays and regretted it. Well,
it doesn't have to be a holiday.
Pick any time of the year.
I don't know.
Pick any time of the year. There's probably 30% of people who said they've hooked up and regretted it. This is my favorite little stat from this conversation, though, about going home for the holidays and maybe getting some squish at your folks' place, maybe even in your old childhood bedroom with the single bed. This is my favorite stat. 22% of people will bring sex toys when visiting family.
What?
That's a little
So
far.
if they hook up, they've got their double-ended this and their strap-on that and their nipple clamps, whatever. No. They'll bring their sex toys back to their folks' place just in case a hookup happens, so they got all the tools for a good time.
I mean, if you're...
I would think that's more like single people bringing a sex toy.
That is single people. What did I say?
Well, you were saying like you'd bring it for you and your spouse or whatever.
No, I did not say that, I don't think. I just...
Oh, I thought you did.
No, these single people, like I said, a single person, you're returning home to your parents, maybe even possibly going to get some in your childhood bed. They'll bring their sex toys with them.
Yeah, I didn't think you said single either. I thought you said 22% of people bring sex toys when visiting family. So, yeah, I also was picturing like a couple. Because I know a particular couple where if sex toys aren't involved, she is not interested. So that's what I was wondering, if it's one of those things where it's just a part of the process every single time. You know, it might make it less awkward.
Well, I guess I don't know what I said at this point, but I was picturing single people, you folks were picturing married people, whatever. One or the other.
Yeah, that's not something I'd ever be interested in doing. There was even a time, like in my later teens, where I decided it was weird to be having sex in my parents' house. I thought, I'm getting older. This is weird. I don't know. It felt weirder. Like it felt more of like a, like kind of Josh was saying, like a respect thing, I guess. It was weird. And so it changed. Like I no longer, I think by the time I was like 17 or 18, it was before I graduated high school, I no longer had sex in my parents' house. It just weirded me out too much. I couldn't get in the mood or anything. It was,
Well, I could like my childhood bedroom quite easily, but I mean, I hear what you're saying. I don't know if sex toys aren't a thing for me, so I'd feel weird if all of a sudden I, brought some over there. That
just a big duffel bag full.
Right, but that's why I was thinking maybe if that's just a part of it, it's not strange or wouldn't make you feel awkward.
With my luck, I'd try to get something going, and then my dad would cough in the next room, and that would just ruin everything.
Oh, I could get through that.
I couldn't do it. I don't know.
I could get through that quite easily. It depends on how you were brought up. Again, all the rest of you had married parents. When I was in my prime, my folks were divorced, and I was living with the old man. And again, the house was a tavern for the most part, and he was having a fun single life at the time too. So I didn't have any feelings of guilt as if this was sacred or that was blessed or whatever. It was just the whole house was kind of a pile. So.
At that point, you guys probably felt more like roommates.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
that helps a lot.
And he there sounds like there was no rules whatsoever.
Not very many.
Place.
No.
Yeah, my parents were pretty darn strict.
That's funny, though, the way you mentioned all you had to hear was your dad cough, and it would ruin the... I mean, my God, if that was stopping me, I'd still be a virgin, for Christ's sake. Our house was, it was different. It was like a couple of dudes living together, and
I think if I didn't hear coughing, I'd be more suspicious.
Yeah, is he
I grew
dead?
up with 4 adults who were chain smokers.
Yeah.
So I would think either they've got their ears to the door or they all died.
That must have been like a chorus.
Yeah.
Sure, thin walls. Yeah, if dad noises threw me off my game, I would have been in real trouble. All right, I'm going to be sick before too long. I'm going to be sick, but sick with a satisfied smile on my face. I wanted to say word up and thank you real quick to, what is this? Senior Lab Tech Jesus, who must have heard me talking recently on the radio about how much I love, and I never can find this stuff, but then again, I guess I don't actively seek it out. I've never been too aggressive about it. It's been a long time since I've had peanut brittle. I absolutely love it. Never seem to get my hands on it anymore. Probably my own fault. But Senior Lab Tech Jesus sent us in some Dr. J's peanut brittle. And I thank you very much because this is some of the best stuff. For me personally, one of my favorite treats of all time. He sent us 3 packages. It says 1 for Nick, 1 for Cubby, 1 for the kids if you want to give them any.
The kids, that's adorable.
Josh, do you like peanut brittle?
I love it, yeah.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a lot of peanut brittle.
Yeah, it is.
Not going to be enough for me. I mean, I can't even think of the
thank
last
you.
time.
Your mouth is going to be sore, but it's going to be so worth it.
Yeah, like I said, sick, maybe in some pain, but with a satisfied smile on my face. Thanks again. Maybe in the future I'll try to be more proactive and aggressive in finding this stuff.
Did you read the warning? There's a caution sticker on here.
No, what's it say?
So here from Dr. J's Peanut Brittle. Caution, it has peanuts in it. Mm-hmm. It also says it may cause overeating. It may induce extra energy. It's pretty nice.
Well, it's...
All that protein, yeah.
It's certainly going to cause overeating. I mean,
Caution.
love
contains
this stuff.
peanuts.
How long do you think this will last if it's just you eating this thing? The week? More than a week?
It won't last a week.
It won't?
No, it won't last this week. I'll keep you posted if you like, because this is like crack rocks for me.
There's peanuts in it. Don't forget in the peanut brittle.
In the peanut brittle. I will try to remember that. Thanks again, Senior Lab Tech Jesus. Maybe I'll look these folks up. Dr. J's Peanuts. Look at the adorable, how do you call it, mascot there on the...
he is cute.
All right, what did we have here? A couple weeks ago, we went ahead with that Cyber Monday.
Sure did.
Yep.
We were talking about it 1 or 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that.
Last week.
Last week?
Wasn't last week Cyber Monday?
Oh, God,
Was
really?
it?
It feels like longer ago than that. Apparently, Josh, a new record was set. And I guess this past Cyber Monday was the biggest online shopping day ever in the United States of America.
Yeah, I was reading that. I was a part of it. I bought some Christmas gifts. I bought myself my Christmas gift from my wife. She said she's just completely lost on what to get me. And I think I'm relatively easy to buy for. I'll take anything. I don't care.
Yeah, you're pretty easy.
That's what I thought. She complains. So I said, hey, this is what you can get me.
Well, that works
So
too, though.
you were involved in this. You were involved in Cyber Monday. Do you want to talk about what she got you since you already got it for yourself?
Oh, it's nerdy. It's work related.
Okay.
I got kind of a cheap one fader control surface for editing audio.
I don't know what the hell that. I don't even know what that means.
That's awesome.
Let me
I
ask
think
you
Wapple knows what it means.
Yep.
While we're on the topic here, Josh, I hope you don't mind. I have a big. I wish I knew the word. All right, I'll just cut to the chase since I can't seem to find the proper word to make myself sound like a smart person. I'm going to be spending a good chunk of change here in the near future. It has nothing to do with Christmas or the holidays or my wife. I'm going to be spending a lot of money.
Is this with my buddy?
No.
No, it's something different.
No,
That's coming too.
Josh's buddy sells me illegal drugs, and I'm going to be spending money on him. That's not that bad of a price tag, after all, what your buddy wants me to pay him for the drugs.
He's very reasonable.
He is reasonable.
He saved a life over the weekend, but I don't want to interrupt your story.
Nothing to do with your buddy. I'd love to hear this life-saving story when you get a chance. Something separate than the agreement I have with your friend. I'm going to be spending a lot of money in the near future. And I was kind of sitting around last night going, damn, this is a lot of money. I'm a little worried, like a lot of us get before a big payout happens. But what was crossing my mind is, okay, you know, what can I say about my personal life, the way I handle my finances? What can I say to myself to feel better about it? And one of the things I came up with was, you know, my wife and I have had an agreement for the last couple of years. We don't spend a dime on each other for the holidays. We don't buy each other anything. So where I'm going with this is, to make myself better about this big chunk of change I'll be pushing out here shortly, I hope you don't mind me asking you, what do you normally spend every Christmas on gifts? So that way I could tell myself, well, yeah, I'm pushing out this big pile of money, but I didn't spend a dime on Christmas, so that balances itself out. I hope you don't. I don't know if you want to say that kind of thing out loud, give me a neighborhood ballpark type of a thing.
A little uncomfortable. I mean, like, so for my big kids, I get
Well, how about if I wrote down a number?
Okay.
You can go. You can tell the story.
Like, the most expensive thing is my son and daughter split some Twins season tickets.
Okay, that's a couple grand.
Something like that, yeah.
What if I gave you an over/under?
Go ahead.
Wow, if you compared it to me, you would not feel good, Nick.
Okay, well, you're comfortable talking about?
Yeah,
Well, you don't spend a lot of money.
I think in my opinion, I think I spend a lot of money, but around like $700, $800.
Oh, that's kid stuff.
Yeah, I try to do it throughout the year too, so that it's not like one big hit at once.
Cubby, 10 grand?
Oh, way under.
Thank God, Josh. We would have to have a talk.
What if I threw another number at you?
Go ahead.
5 grand.
It's probably where my mom's at, Josh, if that makes you feel better. Probably even more with all the food and stuff.
My headphones cut out first. I didn't hear the number.
He hasn't said a word, but you have, even without saying a word, you've made me feel better.
That's
you
good.
have.
That's good. Yeah, because I don't know what the conversation was. My headphones cut out for a second. So.
Okay. All right, cool.
Do you mind sharing what that is? What that's for?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. You don't mind?
It's not interesting at all.
Bummer.
It's not interesting at all.
I was hoping like a hot tub or something.
No. It's nothing exciting. It's nothing where you go, oh, dude. No, you would be bored with it. It's just, but without saying a word, you have made me feel a little bit better about it. It balances itself out.
Good.
Yeah. I don't like having that feeling, and I don't have that feeling very often because I almost never, ever, ever spend real money.
I haven't,
and it's
until
not
we
because
started fixing up our place.
Well, that doesn't feel like spending to me.
You're investing at that point.
I like the way Ashley put it. You're
I
kind of
appreciate you saying that because it's been out of control.
Yeah.
Too much crap has gone wrong.
Yeah, I mean it.
And it seems like if we fix one thing, they find 3 things that are worse.
Right. I don't go on trips, I don't, so
I don't really have any hobbies.
So it's pretty rare that I get this kind of ominous feeling of, oh, God, I'm going to spend this amount of money in a few weeks. But this conversation has made me feel a little bit better.
Good.
What do we got going on today? Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will be stopping by, or one combination of the other. I don't know. Randy, Brad.
Yeah, I think Brad's going to be here.
All right. Mm-hmm. They'll be here about 7:30. We can talk about these ball games that happened over the weekend.
Dr. P's going to be here.
Dr. P. Jesus will be here around 8:20, so we can talk about everything that's wrong with you, our listening audience. All the things that are wrong with you, you can ask Dr. P about it. We got to get going. We'll take a break. We appreciate you very much. Return here in a few minutes on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from driveeasymd.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at driveeasymd.com.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and fire up today's stupid news report. Here's one. We're going to start with one for the police in our listening audience. I know we got a few cops listening, and I got a question for you. Is going undercover fun?
Oh, I think it would be.
I mean, obviously, it depends on the danger involved. It likely depends on the type of character you're going after. I'm sure going undercover can be really, really stressful, and it's not for everybody. But I bet in some situations, like what we have going on in this here first stupid news story of the day, I bet going undercover can be fun. But if there's any cops out there with any comments, 651-989-9393. One of my uncles spent a good majority of his law enforcement career undercover, and I know he loved to talk about it. He loved to tell the stories.
Well, I can tell you my brother and cousin both the same. They what they've told me before is when you're the new guy, it's not quite as fun as when you get to pick and choose a little more when you're more veteran.
Okay.
Yeah, my both of them have told me a couple of stories where it sounds absolutely miserable.
Is it ever like the movies where they would be undercover for years?
Well, not these. This is more
like Donnie Brasco?
These are local departments where it's just kind of like a sting. More, I should say, an undercover for a sting versus like what you're talking about.
Well, you know, my uncle must have been undercover for long stretches of time because he had his look dramatically altered for long periods of time.
Oh, that's cool.
So, I mean, if he just was doing a weekend undercover, he could have put his hairdo back to normal, you know, as opposed to he wore this look for a long, long time. So maybe he was undercover. It's been a long time since I've asked him about it, and this was many, many years ago. Certainly, and obviously, some situations are more stressful than others. Here's a buff cop Jesus who texted in saying that going undercover is a blast. Josh, tell us some of these miserable stories. You were saying your brother and your cousin may have had some miserable experiences undercover.
Well, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but it's some deviant sex stuff. We'll say that's disturbing to say the least, and you have to pretend you're into certain things.
Yuck.
I can understand how that would be tough.
I'd imagine the drug ones outside of the fear, right? Maybe you're afraid of getting killed or discovered or killed.
Right.
Would be better than some of the other stuff. You know, it just as far as like you have to pretend you're into some gross things.
Yeah. All right. Let me tell you about this undercover situation here. Over there in Thailand, the cops were hunting down a wanted sex pervert. And they got him, and the mission was helped by an undercover cop. The mission was helped by a cop who went undercover dressed as a, quote, BDSM sex wrestler.
This is up on 93x.com.
Oh, you bet it is.
I got it.
Oh, crazy.
I got to admit, this one I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting into that role. The guy looks ridiculous, and he doesn't have the body for it, which makes it even better.
When you see the video, it does look like fun. I don't think that this perp was known to be violent, so that eases the stress a little bit. Again, the cop went undercover, dressed as a BDSM sex wrestler, and his character had a name, Big Bear. Big Bear, the sex wrestler. So here's the story. A police captain by the name of Panlawat, he and the rest of the Thai police had been hunting a 31-year-old feller called Mr. Ree. Panlawat is the cop. Mr. Ree is the sex pervert. The cops tried to use a female undercover cop. So she was pretending to be a prostitute to try to lure Mr. Ree into a hotel room. But the dude didn't bite. And I believe they were doing this all over social media. The dude, the pervert, didn't bite. Mr. Ree told the lady cop that he'd meet her for sex at a hotel, but only if she brought along a dude dressed as a damn Greco-Roman wrestler. The singlet, the whole works. I think the pervert guy wanted to set up some kind of a cuckold type scene. So he said, yeah, sure, I'll meet you, lady, who I think is a prostitute but really is an undercover cop. I'll meet you, but you got to bring a feller with you, and he's got to be a Greco-Roman uniformed wrestler. So the cops said, what did they say now? He said he wanted a wrestler as a third person in the mix. And the wrestler would be tied up and watch him fold the lady. That's cuckold, right, Cubby?
I think so, yeah.
Officer Panlawat, the guy that I was telling you about, he agreed to go to the hotel dressed as a sex wrestler. The female undercover officer told the perv, okay, you got a deal. An amateur wrestler friend of mine called Big Bear will meet you at the hotel. So the cops set up cameras ahead of time in the hotel room. You can watch the video of the undercover cop dude with his singlet on, walks into the hotel room, and he also has a Satan mask on for some reason. And the pervert dude effing loves it. As soon as he sees the wrestler character, he gives off like a woo type of a thing. I mean, he's very excited. And then just like you've seen before, when cops set up these hotel room stings, 88 cops come charging in from the next room, and they beat the dude's ass and put him in handcuffs.
Dana, if you were tasked to go undercover as a sex wrestler,
Yeah.
would you have to do any shopping, or are you good?
I'm good. I've got everything I need.
I had a feeling.
I can outfit all 5 of us.
Officer Panlawat, otherwise known as his alter ego, Big Bear, he said, I laughed when I was asked to wear the wrestling costume. I thought it was a joke, but I understood the seriousness of the situation because the suspect was wanted for crimes against women. I agreed. I did my best to work with the team to catch the suspect. And yeah, you did, brother. The pervert feller, he was wanted on all kinds of sleazy things, upskirt pictures, groping, date rape. Ugh. He had brought a leather dog collar to the hotel with a leash, you know. He had brought that with him to the hotel room for the cuckold wrestling party, okay? To add insult to injury, after he got busted, the pervert got his ass marched out of the hotel to the cop car with that same leather dog collar around his neck.
That's awesome.
No way.
The
That's
cops
incredible.
they got a kick out of it.
Cops should always be able to do that no matter the situation. Anybody who's arrested.
Yes.
Michigan was the last state where cops were allowed to have sex with prostitutes during investigations. And that just ended in 2017.
What?
It happened in South Park, Colorado.
Yes.
Busted!
Someone texted you that, Josh?
No, I looked it up.
That's
Michigan.
insane.
Cops were allowed to have sex with their prostitutes in order to make a proper bust?
Yeah, up until 2017.
Fascinating.
Sorry, hon, it was for work. I don't know what to tell you.
Aw, dude.
You know how hard I work? I was there every day.
Dedicated to my craft, babe.
Twice on Friday.
That is fascinating.
I always thought prostitution was legal in Thailand. There's all those jokes about, Thai hookers and whatnot. I guess not.
Well, maybe it is.
I looked it up. It said it's not.
Oh. I was just going to say, maybe it is, but, upskirt photos and date rape obviously is not, and that's what they wanted this guy for. So it is not legal in Thailand. All right. Here's another one of those stories where all I'm capable of doing is reading what's in front of me because I'm not familiar at all with the subject matter. I'm going to go ahead anyway. Josh can hopefully translate what it is I'm saying. A lady in South Carolina. She's a mother. She's got a grown kid or two. It says here, Mom accidentally sent her family a live Christmas photo, but when she sent the photo, there was audio in there of a dirty romance novel describing a bulge in a dude's pants. So, Josh, can you make it so people like me who don't know technology, what happened here? How does this happen?
Well, you have the ability on your phone. I mean, you've got this too, where you take a picture and it captures like a second of video, right?
I can show you.
Yeah, if you push, like you hold the photo, it'll kind of show. It's like, I was going to ask if you saw Harry Potter. That was a stupid question.
Here, Nick.
Where it can move for a second.
Never saw it.
Yeah.
Watch this. So this is a photo that I took of a cup of coffee, and see how it's perfectly still?
Now, wait a minute. Was this from when we went to breakfast Friday?
Yes, it was. I was wondering if you guys saw that. I had to.
Please tell me you didn't put this on Facebook and say, look at my cup of coffee.
No, it's just for me.
Okay.
It's just for me.
You took a picture of a cup of coffee.
Yes, and so if I hold down on the picture, it moves a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
See like a second or whatever.
So a lady sent a Christmas picture. She pointed her phone at the fireplace and look at how pretty our Christmas setup is at the house. And then what happened?
So it was a live photo. And
Live photo.
It'll capture audio too. I had the setting on for a while, and I just, not on purpose. So pictures I took were, like you get, let's say you're taking a picture, the boss is like, how around here they'll have the workplace picture they want to take every once in a while. So if somebody's like, this is effing stupid, and they take a live photo, you're going to hear that.
So she takes the live picture
Of this beautiful Christmas scene.
yes, and she's busted, I guess, to a certain extent because it's proven there with the audio that she was at the same time listening to a dirty story.
Yeah, while she's taking the photo.
Okay. She didn't know that audio was included in these type of photographs.
I think she just didn't know she had it on live photo.
Anyway, the gal goes by the name of Kimberly Barber, the gal who made this mistake. She says, I will never live this down. She did not know that iPhone live photos take a second and a half of movement and sound. She took a picture of her twinkling holiday fireplace. She was also at the same time listening to a filthy book on tape.
All right,
Her daughter saw it, and everyone is calling her a whore. No, I'm kidding. Her daughter saw it, and they're all having a good time with it.
That is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Mitch texted in and said, what you saw, Nick, was Harry Cooter, not Harry Potter.
Both good films.
These smut books are very popular.
Are they really?
Yeah, in the last couple of years. I'm
of
sure
course they are.
Dana, you've probably seen on social media. Everybody loves these books.
Oh, definitely.
There was one buddy of mine said his wife is in a book club, and then they decided to try some smut. And he said it worked out really well for him, so he's hoping it becomes a franchise of books.
Yep, I think it was Colleen Hoover. She came out with a book series of raunchy books, and that kind of kickstarted everybody's love for them.
This isn't right, but there was a girl in high school whose nickname was Hoover because she gave one of my friends oral. They called her that. It didn't seem right at the time even.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
This person says you got to be careful with live photos. A lot of wives catch their husbands' girlfriends with that.
How so? How do you...
So maybe you hear them talking in the background? Or,
Yep.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those things go viral, or the husband will send a selfie of them at a baseball game or whatever. They're supposed to be hanging out with the boys, and then when they churn the phone away from their face, you can see a girl next to them because it's a live photo. Yep.
Gotcha.
Idiots.
What the living? That's just...
Idiots.
All right, for cripe's sake, this here next story is beyond ridiculous. I would be effing furious if I was this guy. Inconsolable. I would be so mad. There'd be no talking me down. Let me tell you about a guy from Thailand. Again with the friggin' Thailand, you're saying. I would be more angry than I've ever been in my life if I was this poor bastard right here. A 22-year-old pimp in Thailand fell 40 feet down an abandoned well last month, and he couldn't get out. There he goes. He falls all the way smooth down, 40 feet to the bottom of a well. He's beat to hell. There's no way to get out on his own. So he started screaming for help. Screaming and screaming and screaming, but no one showed up. The well is in a remote forest, but there's a small village nearby where people should have been able to hear him, and they did hear him. Several people in the village heard him screaming and screaming, but they didn't show up to help. They didn't bother going outside to figure out what the hell was going on. Not a one. Are you ready to find out why?
Is this like a the boy who cried wolf situation?
Like it always happens to him.
He's seriously down there again.
Falling down in wells. There he goes again.
Nobody showed up because they assumed he was a ghost. The jackhole people in their jackhole village, they think the forest is haunted, so none of them had the balls to go out there and find out what all the screaming was about. This is apparently a true story.
I'm not going. I'm too scared.
The poor kid was stuck in the well for 3 days.
What?
And not one swinging D in that friggin' village had the balls to go find out what the scream. Eventually, the cops heard him screaming when they just happened to drive by.
Thank God.
3 days.
He was so hungry.
Oh, I bet.
Someone just
Told
get
him-
this guy a burger.
And he told the cops he'd only been yelling once an hour to conserve energy. So it's lucky that they were driving by at the right time.
That is lucky.
It took 30 minutes to pull him out of there. He was covered in bruises. He had a head injury. He had a broken wrist. And I'm telling you, if I'm this kid, I'm going to that village and I'm punching everybody in the mouth for that. Men, women, babies, the elderly, maybe even a few dead bodies. None of you clowns came to help me because you thought it was a ghost? What are you, a pack of 4-year-olds or something?
Now, if there was no water down there, that could have been haunted in about another week. Don't you think?
Oh, true that.
He was close to death.
He probably thought he was a goner.
Of course. 3 friggin' days. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink. Oh, yeah. We thought you were a ghost, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd go crazy. The town would get burned down.
I would have loved to see his face when he found out why, because he's like, man, I was so far down there, I guess you guys didn't hear me screaming.
Right.
No, we heard you, bro.
No, we heard you. We thought you were a ghost.
Oh, my God.
You understand, right?
Would you not show up at that drunk one night, Josh? You'd go back to that village with a crowbar in your hand and straighten some people out.
Yeah, I think I'd be pretty upset.
What in the hell?
Confused.
It's 2024.
Well, then call an exorcist or somebody. Get somebody out there.
Yeah, this isn't the 1600s or
Yeah,
something.
You thought that you were just going to live with this ghost in the forest
And
for 3
how
days?
many ghosts do you know that say, help, for Christ's sake, help?
Well,
I've seen a lot of ghost movies and ghost cartoons. Very few of them go, ow, I'm in a lot of goddamn pain down here, help! I'll be damned. I'm telling you, I'm punching everybody in the jaw for this. I don't care who it is.
if anybody says, I can imagine somebody passes him on the way to the mall, hello, F you. He's going to, F you is what he's going to say to everybody.
Yeah, he definitely has to move.
All right. While we're on the subject of irreparably, how do you say this? Irreparably? While we're on the subject of stupid people, let's go this way now. 2 brothers in a place called Wasilla, Alaska, got arrested last Wednesday night. They were having an argument, shoving each other back and forth and whatnot. And then an alligator and a crocodile got involved. I'll tell you what happened.
Well, they're all over Alaska.
In Alaska, yeah. So here's the deal. 30-year-old Ricky Lowe and his 33-year-old brother Tyler Lowe got into their shoving match while arguing about an anime cartoon, as grown-ass brothers in their 30s normally do. They got into some kind of an argument about an anime cartoon. Things really escalated when Tyler grabbed Ricky's pet alligator and threw it out into the snow.
That's mean.
Then Ricky retaliated by grabbing Tyler's pet crocodile and threw that out into the snow, too.
Come on.
I'll show him.
You're going to throw my alligator into the snow. I'm going to throw your crocodile. It was 30 degrees at the time.
See you later, alligator.
Oh!
After a while, crocodile.
You bastard. Ricky called the cops. And then Ricky scooped up his 2-year-old kid who was watching this effing nerd fight.
No, poor kid.
Ricky grabbed up his 2-year-old kid and he drove out of there. I'm out of here. Cops showed up. Tyler was slurring his words. He was drunk. When the cops tracked stupid Ricky down, he was drunk behind the wheel of his car with his kid in the back.
Great.
So they both got busted. Cops searched outside for an hour and eventually found the alligator there in the snow. But they never found the crocodile.
No, see this.
They never found the bastard.
That makes me sad.
Nobody's sad when a crocodile dies. Those sumbitches are out to get you, Ashley. They're out to get you.
Former baggage handling Jesus, he grew up there. He grew up in that town. And he said, that behavior doesn't sound that far off.
Oh my gosh, really?
They like to get drunk and toss crocodiles up there in Wasilla.
All right, maybe there's some nice crocodiles out there. I'm sorry I raised my voice at you, Ashley.
I'm sure there's a couple nice ones.
There's a couple of nice ones.
That one was probably chilling. It's all nice and warm in its little enclosure. Next thing you know, oh, here's frostbite and death.
Oh!
I mean, death.
That sounds like a buddy cop show. Frostbite and death.
Here's, like I said, both these dumbbells got arrested. Assault, drunk driving, child endangerment, animal cruelty. Great stuff to have on your record. You know what I want, Cubby? I want to hear some comments from their parents. I bet the old man says, these two have been idiots their entire lives and I've never loved either one of them.
I bet his statement starts with this, though.
Yep.
It's just exasperating.
Never wanted him in the first place, but we live in Alaska. I got bored, made a couple of babies. F my life, I bet is what the old man would say. Throwing each other's friggin' stupid tropical pets out into the snow because you're arguing over anime cartoons. We're in our 30s doing this.
The 2-year-old.
I got a 2-year-old over here who's probably seen worse. All right, that's crazy. A nice crocodile just texted me.
Oh. What'd they have to say?
Said, we're not all that bad. We're not all bad. He said, I understand there's some fear because of our violent nature, he said. But he said, we're not all bad. I'm actually a pretty nice crocodile. I got a wife, and he says, I got a kid on the way.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I was just picturing an alligator or a crocodile typing on a computer.
Yeah.
Little hands.
He's on his way to work right now. He listens to us every day on his commute, Josh.
That's awesome.
My gosh.
He works at the library.
That's so cute.
The Hennepin County Library.
That'd be great, just watching a crocodile librarian. That sounds like another television show. Got his glasses on, just walking up and down the aisles, teaching you about the Dewey Decimal System.
Oh, my gosh.
All right, I got a keeper here for you to wrap up this edition of the Stupid News. I think it's a keeper in my book. Fellas, this kind of thing will get you laid. If, in fact, you have a penis and testicles after it's over. I wouldn't guarantee that. A dude up there in Canada fought a polar bear after it lunged at his wife.
That's badass.
That is badass.
He is expected to survive, it says here. This effing deal went down skis in the far northern part of Ontario, near what they call here Hudson Bay. So, see if you can follow this. The couple was in their own driveway around 5 a.m. the other day. They were out looking for their dogs, and a polar bear came wandering up on them, and it lunged at the old lady. And the woman slipped and fell to the ground, leaving her vulnerable as all hell. The husband jumped onto the polar bear.
What?
And kept it from possibly killing his wife dead. Now, the bear said, "Oh, you want to play, huh?" And it wailed on the dude for a while.
Oh, no.
It wailed on him pretty good. It tore the guy's lips off and kissed his ass with it. Because polar bears are capable of that. They can do that with a flick of the wrist. A neighbor heard all this yelling and bones breaking, and he came out in his drawers with a gun in hand, and he air-holed the polar bear up and down.
Glad the neighbor didn't think it was a ghost.
I'm sorry?
Glad the neighbor didn't think it was a ghost.
Yeah,
Actually,
what's all that noise out there? Oh, it sounds like a ghost.
Oh, look at that. There's a big white glob of ghost.
What's happening in the background?
The Revenant.
Yeah, it'll be over in about 15 minutes.
That was the longest bear attack I've ever seen.
I loved it.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked.
And you kept thinking, Leo's going to be, okay, I guess the thing's back.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got to be done. Oh, nope. It's like the chicken
fighting Family Guy.
Yeah.
So again, husband's getting destroyed by a polar bear, and 99 times out of 100, the polar bear is going to kill the guy. Neighbor hears all this, comes out, shoots the polar bear 30 or 40 times. The polar bear runs like hell into the woods, and then it dropped dead. But anyways, the hero husband is going to make her. He's laid out in a hospital bed, but he's going to make her. When the wife told him how much she loved him for saving her life, he had to come clean. He told his wife he jumped on the bear because he thought the bear was heading for his pickup, and he just had it washed.
Yeah, polar bears are crazy aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Experts.
Humans.
No, they don't, sadly, Waffle.
Oh, they do.
It's a
The
myth.
story said it doesn't.
I wish, because I want that to be true, because how hilarious is that if polar bears are out there just haunting
How
you?
hilarious is that?
Not hilarious.
I mean, that's just like
hilarious.
silly. I don't think another animal really does that.
The story said they only do when they've been starving or if they're unwell.
No way.
Well, yeah.
Way.
Yeah. And
So they do where they do not hunt humans. They don't.
They don't. They don't.
Not
actually
unless
hunt
it's
them.
absolutely desperate and they're out of their freaking minds.
Yeah. Story said it's a myth that they do.
Yeah. Here's another myth for you. According to experts, polar bear experts, they say if you ever get jumped by a polar bear, definitely do not play dead. They say that is a myth. They say fight as long as you can, but odds are you're going to die, and you're going to die ugly and in more pain than you ever imagined possible.
Fight as long as you can. So like 30 seconds. Not even.
Brave guy, though.
Here's a listener who says all polar bears are starving and unwell. Is that?
They're not doing the best.
They're not?
No.
How the crocodiles doing?
I think they're doing good, except
Good.
for that one.
Good.
The one guy is not doing well.
The one who's just kind of frozen in the snow in Alaska.
And are they ever going to find him? Like, is the snow ever going to melt enough?
No, not in Alaska. They were in Canada. So when eagles already picked that thing up and eaten it. Well, this is different. I haven't had one of these before. Crocodile. Now, Ashley, now I'm starting to see it your way. I'm very sympathetic now to that crocodile who was probably born in Biafra or something, ends up in a stupid spider hole garbage house in Canada, right? And the brothers throw him out into the snow. He didn't. He's like, how did this happen in my life? What?
This was my life.
How did I end up here dying in the snow in Canada because two 30-year-old brothers aren't as mature as 5-year-olds? I'm sympathetic of the crocodile.
Bear advice from FXT Jesus. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, you're effed.
Yeah. Good night. Thankfully, I don't know, Josh. I don't anticipate an encounter with a polar bear anytime soon.
No, unless you get very unlucky at one of the zoos. That's about it.
Something like that.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Offense, that's the way to step up, man. That's the way to step up. There you go, Skip. Keep throwing up, whatever you're doing over there. Put a freaking lead on the line.
Oh, sure. That's Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell giving a shout-out to one of his players while the guy was puking in a trash can in the locker room after that win over Green Bay last week.
It was a weird weekend to be a Lion of any sort. There was, from the Nittany State Lions, a linebacker, he barfed right on the field.
Oh, yeah.
They're all throwing up.
So gross. It's up on 93x.com.
It's so hot right now.
A member of the Penn State Nittany Lions football club cacked on the field Saturday night. You got the Lions, Detroit Lions player puking in the locker room. Speaking of vomit, the Golden Gopher Football Club has accepted an invitation to play in the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl.
Oh, PJ Fleck's going to get so much mayo on his head.
Okay.
Gross.
That'll be coming up January 3rd. I just wish there wasn't going to be disgusting buckets of mayonnaise everywhere. Because I'm going to watch the game. Of course, I'm a Golden Gopher football fan. I wish it wasn't going to involve giant barrels of mayonnaise and pouring it. Then they always cut to the overweight college student who's drinking and spooning it into it. It's going to be very difficult to watch.
It's nauseating.
There's a lot of nauseating things going on. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will be swinging by a little later. We'll talk all this football, this and that. Juan Soto, $700 million. Timberwolves, frustrating loss. But it's going to be a lot of laughs. Don't go anywhere because Josh's news report's coming up next.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving money with EasyPass. Free transponders plus lower tolls make EasyPass the perfect holiday gift. Visit driveezmd.com to get yours today.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Was outside. He was naked. He was naked with his shirt and his everything was naked. And I asked for the people around to call police, and nobody would call police.
A Florida woman is behind bars after briefly kidnapping a toddler last month. 39-year-old Pamela Moonslave was arrested after taking a 3-year-old boy out of his fenced backyard and walking down the street with him.
That's creepy.
When police arrived, she told them she saw the boy alone in a private yard and was just trying to help. A neighbor told the woman to leave the child where he was before taking a picture and alerting the mother. She said, I got a little boy, and everybody was like, don't get the little boy. And I'm like, I gave it back to the mom. But when questioned further about how she found the boy in the first place, her story fell apart. An officer asked, where's the playground? She fumbled, near the outside when the mom came out, I gave it back.
Oh.
Go.
He was outside. He was naked. He was naked.
The little baby was naked?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Everything that she said didn't make sense as to there was no reason for her to take this child. She doesn't know the child, has no relationship with the family whatsoever. So it was just not something that we would normally see or that of a normal individual.
Didn't say whether or not she was on anything, but she sure appeared to be.
You can't just walk up and grab somebody's naked baby.
Well, she said she was trying to help.
Yeah.
So, on your way, and thank you so much.
Why is a baby running around the yard naked?
Well, half naked.
Oh.
I don't know, just playing in the backyard.
Babies don't like clothes.
Put some clothes on that baby.
A 41-year-old Missouri woman faces serious accusations after losing her temper and intentionally running over a bank employee decorating for the holidays.
Bad.
The dispute started when the Christmas light installation temporarily closed down the bank's drive-thru. Gemma Allen was arrested last Monday about 9:30 a.m. after police, firefighters, and paramedics rushed to the bank parking lot when they received a call about a pedestrian being struck by a vehicle. Witness statements and bank surveillance footage helped investigators piece together what happened. The footage showed a crew in the bank lot installing Christmas lights, which required closing the drive-thru area because a lift was being used. According to authorities, she became furious when she was told the drive-thru was inaccessible. Witnesses said she argued with a bank employee, cursing at him before accelerating her vehicle as he walked away to pick up a tote. She allegedly struck him and sped off without checking on his condition. In a subsequent interview, she claimed the collision was an accident, saying she mistakenly put her car into drive. However, witnesses disputed her account, stating she deliberately hit the gas.
Gal loves banking.
and hates walking. She did not want to get out of the car.
Yeah, geez, just park, you lazy.
A bomb squad was called to John E. Smith Intermediate School in Ohio Thursday after a box of donuts. Butler Township, where police were called to the school on reports of a suspicious person at approximately 10:48 a.m. According to the district, a man had called the front office and then showed up in person asking for a tour. He was carrying a box of donuts, and when staff denied him entry, he left the box outside the school. The school contacted police and locked down the school over an abundance of caution, they said. The bomb squad checked the box, which was later determined to be just donuts, which, according to the stereotype, police quickly confiscated. Detectives identified the male and determined the incident was a misunderstanding and miscommunication between staff and the individual. Turns out the man tutors one of the students. As a matter of fact, they're an extended family member of that student and just wanted to see the school.
How was there that big of a miscommunication?
The bomb squad.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about schools at all, but I would think it's pretty rare for someone to show up and say, I would like a tour.
That
you know
is
what
weird.
I mean?
Yeah.
That's weird.
You think they would have set that up ahead of time?
Yeah.
Like the parents of the student or something.
I'd be suspicious as all hell if I worked at that school. What do you mean you want a tour?
Even if that was my family member, I'd be like, bruh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's really strange.
This isn't 1952. You can't just walk up and tour, you know, a joint full of kids.
A seductive and deadly figure has been unmasked. Karen Rodriguez, a 24-year-old Colombian assassin, better known by her alias, The Doll, has been arrested.
Oh, dude, that's a cool alias.
What's she infamous for, Cubby?
She's an assassin.
An assassin.
Arrested on Thursday, Rodriguez is accused of orchestrating a series of ruthless gangland hits, including the cold-blooded murder of her own ex. July 23rd, Rodriguez lured her ex-boyfriend into a trap, pretending to reconcile over some sort of financial dispute. But what began as a supposed peace offering was anything but peaceful. 2 gunmen on a motorcycle executed him in a drive-by shooting. A hit police say was ordered by the doll herself. Rodriguez didn't go down alone, though. She was arrested alongside 2 accomplices, including another assassin known by the unflattering nickname Fat Hit Woman.
Oh, no. Dude, come on. I'd be so
She gets the doll and I get Fat Hit Woman?
I'd be so pissed.
This place sucks.
It's just disrespectful.
I hate this gang. Together, along with a third killer for hire, they formed a deadly trio carrying out hits for a notorious gang. The shocking details of her arrest aren't the only part of the story that have captivated the internet. Her resemblance to actress Aubrey Plaza has social media calling for the Parks and Rec star to play the doll in a movie adaptation of the real-life crime saga. The 40-year-old actress, known for her dark humor, was pegged as a natural fit for the role, with fans pointing out the striking similarities between the two women.
I'm surprised she's 40.
Wow, they do look a lot alike. That is really creepy.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
The doll, you say, and she even killed her own ex?
Yeah, her ex had the nickname of Ears. I'm guessing he had big ears.
Yeah,
I was thinking maybe like when he committed crimes, he did something to the people's ears.
Oh, you're dark. You should play the role.
I used to tell, not surprising, I guess, to you guys because you know me. I used to tell my parents all the time that that's what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wanted to be like a professional hit woman.
An assassin?
Yep, I watched Mr. and Mrs. Smith once, and I knew that's what I meant to do.
I found my life's calling.
Yep.
What do you think, boys? You got the seeds to date a lady assassin?
No.
I don't know. Probably not.
She would kill your enemies for you.
That's a good point.
Does she kill only bad guys?
And I do have some enemies.
Yeah, what if she only killed bad guys?
I could be down with that then.
I mean, I know I cheered for Dexter on one of my favorite TV shows, Dexter, which, by the way, has a spinoff starting this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would. No, I probably could.
Aside from the fear involved, because you're dating an assassin, also, there's a lot of guys out there, like say, we'll take Dana as an example. She kills some bitches for a living. You work on a dorky radio show.
you tell fart jokes.
Yeah. What's the word? Is it emasculating? Is that?
Yeah, that could be a word used there.
She'd call the shots in that relationship, no doubt.
She has the more, I guess, tough guy job for sure.
Without a doubt. Just wondering if you had the coins to date a lady assassin.
Probably not. But there is an allure, isn't there, Ashley?
Yes.
You psychopath.
No.
Italy, renowned worldwide for its cuisine, fashion, and architecture, also carries a notorious reputation for its ties to the mafia, where it appears everyone is tied to the mafia there. While stories of mafia arrests aren't exactly rare, one recent case has shocked the peninsula of pasta. The arrest of a 57-year-old woman who frequently visited inmates because the woman accused of delivering messages for the mafia is a Catholic nun. Sister Anna Donnelly, a member of the Sisters of Charity Institute, was one of 25 people arrested in a series of raids targeting a powerful mafia gang. Known for her dedication to charity and her work in Milan's disadvantaged neighborhoods, Sister Donnelly's frequent visits to prisons were believed to be acts of compassion. But prosecutors allege there was much more to her mission. According to authorities, her status as a religious volunteer granted her unrestricted access to penitentiary facilities, a privilege she allegedly exploited to assist mafia associates. In one intercepted phone call, a mafia member boasted, "If you need something inside, she's one of ours." Prosecutors claim Sister Donnelly used her visits not only to deliver orders for the mafia, but also to collect information from inmates, aiding in their criminal operations against the guise of spiritual guidance. Earlier this year, she was honored with a civic award for her charitable work. Today, however, she finds herself under house arrest.
Naughty nun.
Well, Ashley just got done talking about how when she was a kid, she dreamed of maybe growing up to be a female assassin. I can't say that I haven't fantasized many times about being a mob member, being a Henry Hill or a Tommy DeVito type character, like from the movie Goodfellas. Does that draw anybody else in?
There's a level of cool there.
I'll tell you what, be like Tommy. But you know what would end up happening in real life, Josh?
What's that?
I'd end up being Spider, the kid who's serving drinks at the card game and gets shot 76 times because he popped off the Tommy. What are you, some kind of sick maniac? Look it up. That's the line that De Niro dumps on Joe Pesci after he shoots Spider to death. His whole family's rats. They're just rats.
Bend, Oregon is taking a stand against a prankster with a knack for artsy absurdity and is sending a message to the mysterious vandal with a playful streak. Stop sticking googly eyes on public statues.
No, never stop.
While the prank might seem harmless and even amusing, the city said it's becoming an expensive headache. So far, 8 statues in the city's roundabouts have been googly-eyed, and removing the added ocular ornaments has already cost the city over $1,500.
The adhesive that's used to do that really damages the art. So we're trying to get it off quickly to minimize the damage, but we've had eight pieces that have had eyes installed on them and over the past few months. It's cost over $1,500 to remove that.
In a recent Instagram post, city officials explained the problem. While googly eyes placed on various art pieces around town might give you a chuckle, it costs money to remove them with care to avoid damaging the art. The city says the adhesive is the problem.
Do you know what Bend, Oregon is famous for?
Is it the
Hang on a
last
second.
blockbuster?
Nailed it.
I'm sorry. Bend, Oregon is... Yeah, you've brought this up 7 or 8 times since we started working together. Yeah.
I saw the documentary.
I'm the only one that references things over and over again.
You have an obsession with this blockbuster video.
Yeah, it's cool. It's the last one on Earth. I want to go someday.
I thought it was done again. Is it back again?
No, that was a myth. That was a fake story.
Oh, it was? Mm-hmm. Would you call it fake news?
I would call it fake news.
23-year-old Florida man's in jail after an unusual break-in involving partial nudity and a carpet cleaner. It was just after 1:30 a.m. Thursday when a Winter Haven family was startled awake by a loud crash at their front door. Investigating the noise, they found an unexpected guest, Austin Smith, who kicked in their door and was standing in their living room half naked, and unfortunately, it was the gross half. While wearing only a shirt, leaving his body regrettably uncovered from the waist down, he was clutching the family's carpet cleaner for unknown reasons. Startled by the homeowner's shout, Smith dropped the carpet cleaner and bolted. Police caught up with him about 10 minutes later, wandering nearby. When questioned, he reportedly admitted he had no idea what he was doing because he was, quote, high on meth.
At least he's honest. Yeah.
Don't tease me like that. You can't just walk into my house holding a carpet cleaner and then not do anything with the damn thing. You
Clean
know?
that carpet.
Yeah. I got excited there for a second. Oh, you must be here to... Wait, where are you going?
I bought a carpet cleaner on Black Friday.
Oh, those are nice.
You bought a carpet cleaner?
I sure did. I don't know if it's going to be any good. It's a little, like, $70 one.
With the steam and the whole works?
I think so.
Well, that ought to be something. I'm gonna make a prediction. Like everyone else who has bought one of those things, you're gonna use it once and then never acknowledge its existence ever again.
Probably right.
No, my mom uses hers a lot, Josh.
Your
but
mom
she
is
also
different.
is a little bit of a clean freak.
Is she?
Yeah.
Is she? She's pretty versed on how to use it.
Yes, but she's got like one of those big deals. Like a big old carpet cleaner. Yeah, she loves that thing.
Would she mind showing me how to use it on my stairs and living room carpet?
She would actually probably just do it all for you, Josh.
That's where I was going with that.
No, you could just ask her and she would.
Residents in Malaysia are being urged to take extra precautions with their laundry after a string of bizarre underwear thefts caught on surveillance cameras sparked concern. This has happened there before, but now it's becoming another rising issue. Authorities have advised women not to leave clothes drying out overnight, following multiple incidents of stolen undergarments recently. Surveillance footage shared widely on Facebook shows the perverted perpetrators brazenly striking under the cover of darkness. In one video, a car pulls up to a home late at night. A man gets out, scales a fence, loiters on the porch, and then sneaks away with stolen underwear, as the homeowner later discovered. Another clip recorded at 1 a.m. captures a similar scene. A man climbing a fence at a nearby residence and pilfering panties left to dry. The community is on edge, with several residents reporting repeated thefts in recent months. One victim noted their undergarments had been stolen 3 separate times. They must have the good stuff. Local authorities are urging vigilance, encouraging residents to avoid drying intimate apparel outdoors overnight to deter these peculiar crimes.
I guarantee you're only going to steal my drawers once.
Yeah, that's it.
You're not going to want to live that a second time around.
Can you imagine being the only person in the neighborhood? You see them on surveillance climbing your fence, and they just don't take anything.
You steal your own drawers just to try to make it look like, oh, no, they got me too. They got me too.
They just really like mine. It's almost a nightly event. A driver in Canada was fined for being on the highway and having some distracted driving going on because he was streaming pornography on his phone. Officers pulled over a driver last Monday after spotting him using his cell phone to watch explicit content behind the wheel.
Canadian content.
No words on if his hands were on the wheel or elsewhere, but he was still watching the smut when cops approached his window. He didn't want to give it up. Alongside an image of the suspect's phone propped up on the dash, police posted on social media, "Driving requires your full attention. Leave the phone alone. Wait until you get home," they wrote. The suspect received $615 in fines.
You know how you can tell it's Canadian porn, Josh?
How's that?
Rush is playing in the background.
That gets me aroused. Mm-hmm. A 38-year-old driver struck police cars and parked vehicles while fleeing from a Chaska Arby's. According to the Chaska PD, the incident began around 9:30 p.m. Thursday when an officer stopped a car going the wrong way. In fact, the alleged drunk roast beef fan forced the officer to halt in the middle of the street to avoid a collision, then swerved around the squad and, bizarrely, pulled into the drive-thru to place an order. The officer, suspecting the driver might be impaired, initiated a DWI investigation and asked the man to step out of the vehicle. But instead of cooperating, the driver made a daring escape, plowing over a curb, tearing across the grass, and speeding back onto the street. During the getaway, the driver struck 2 police vehicles and eventually lost control, crashing into several parked cars about 2.5 miles from the restaurant. They sustained minor injuries and were treated at a nearby hospital. No one else was injured during that chase.
Try their chocolate shakes.
Dude,
I
they're
have.
so good.
Yeah. And I know people who say if you don't dip a curly fry in there, you're missing out. Dipping in those chocolate
Agree.
shakes. Minnesota's driving habits have taken a troubling turn since the pandemic, with crashes and fatalities climbing despite fewer cars on the road. According to the Department of Public Safety, crashes have risen by 10% over the past few years, with 2021 recording 488 fatalities, a spike from pre-pandemic levels, which hovered below 400. Behaviors like speeding, multitasking, and running red lights are now more frequent. Experts point to a combination of distraction, stress, and overconfidence as culprits. A survey from AAA found that 86% of drivers rate themselves as good or excellent behind the wheel, yet only 23% believe the same of others. Younger drivers in particular admit to risky habits like speeding and multitasking, making them among the most dangerous on the road.
Yeah.
Professor of psychology Brian Porter is not just the associate dean of Old Dominion University in Virginia, he's also a traffic psychologist.
We know that if a behavior occurs and it's helpful to you, say you were speeding to work, you got there faster, you didn't get a ticket. What have you learned? You've learned that you can speed, get to work faster, not get a ticket. And as long as we don't hit anybody, we can almost get away with anything.
I had no idea there was such a thing as a traffic psychologist.
No, it's a made-up gig. You mentioned there are less drivers on the road these days, Josh?
Yes.
Do you know the numbers there?
I don't know.
How significant is it?
If it had it in the story, I took it out.
Copy.
And I think, that's obviously climbing from the pandemic. You remember going to work and there was absolutely nobody on the way home?
I loved that.
A little bit. Yeah, I suppose I do.
To combat this trend, experts suggest making roads safer through structural updates like roundabouts, speed bumps, and narrower lanes. Design changes proven to discourage reckless driving. Law enforcement is also stepping up enforcement, with the Minnesota State Patrol reporting a sharp increase in citations for extreme speeding, including instances of drivers exceeding over 100 miles an hour. Ultimately, authorities are urging drivers to do their part by adopting life-saving habits, slowing down, buckling up, staying focused, and avoiding impaired driving.
I hear you, player.
Yeah, sometimes it is kind of nuts how many aggressive drivers there are. There's a dude that Friday on the way home almost just obliterated me when he was getting on the freeway. I was in the middle lane and he just shot all the way across. I'm fairly certain he had stole that vehicle the way he was driving.
I'm glad he didn't get you.
I kind of wish he would.
No, that's a wish for on the way to work, Josh, not on the way home.
Not on the way home. There was stuff I didn't want to do on Friday. I would have been fine being tied up for a little while. And you guys would have come visit me in the hospital. Nick would have signed my cast.
Oh, definitely.
I would have drawn a penis on it.
I'd expect nothing less. Former Olympian and WWE superstar Kurt Angle is 56 today.
Oh.
John Malkovich, 71. A shout-out from Show Your Boobs, Win a Balloon Jesus to his son Mafia Jesus, turning the big O2 today. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver.
We also recovered several gerbils inside his pants.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Kirk Cousins, who makes his return to Minneapolis, coming off probably the worst three-game stretch of his career, trying to get back on track today. Falcons bringing pressure. Darnold in trouble. Sam Darnold keeps it alive. Darnold on the run. Open man. Coverage blown. Walking touchdown, Justin Jefferson. Darnold lets it rip for Addison at the pylon. Touchdown, Minnesota. 2 for each of them. One of the best duos in the game. Jefferson and Addison both in the end zone twice. 2nd and goal. Darnold looking for his 5th touchdown pass of the day. Addison gets his 3rd.
Oh, Randy Shaver and the lonely boy, Brad Ryder. What up, hoes?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are just buried this morning. A little bit of damn everything. What's that, Randy?
I said so much stuff.
There's plenty of stuff, isn't there, Randy Shaver?
Yeah, what a busy weekend, and what a big sports weekend for Minnesota in particular, but for everybody.
You ain't kidding. We'll start with the damned Vikings. You heard some audio there from yesterday's ball game. They're calling it historic stuff for Sam Darnold, for the DUI kid. His name was just said out loud a minute ago. Jordan Addison. And Justin Jefferson. Addison, 8 catches, 133 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jefferson, 7 catches, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. Darnold, 22 of 28, 347 friggin' yards, 5 touchdown passes. This is the most fun I've had watching a ball game in a long time because I got to see Captain Death Rocks kind of looking like the elderly washout that he is. And then I got to hear the Minnesota crowd chanting MVP at Sam Darnold.
Amazing.
And what were they saying, Josh, when the kid from Michigan fell down? What were the Minnesota people saying about Sam Darnold getting the starting gig a few months ago?
I don't know.
That we were screwed.
That they'd probably win 3 games this year.
Yeah, look at this now.
They were miserable. Awesome. They were friggin' miserable.
I told you before I had to make my youngest son apologize to Sam Darnold where I paused the screen for saying how much that he's going to suck. Our team was ruined.
Yeah.
My son's friend was crying when they got the news that JJ went down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sam Darnold is going to get paid somewhere at the end of this season.
Yeah, probably not here.
Well, I was going to say whether it goes back to what I brought up 2 months ago, and now other people are talking about it too. What do you do? I mean, what do you do if he gets you to the NFC Championship game? What do you do if he gets you further than that? What do you do if you go 1 and out? I mean, that's a question that's going to have to be answered.
I think one of the things that Viking fans and people around the NFL, when they see a story like this, one of the things that stands out is you didn't invest so much money into a quarterback that you weren't able to support the rest of your team, whether it was on your defensive side, your offensive line, whatever positions. This is a great example of how, it doesn't happen all the time, but when a quarterback like a Sam Darnold has this miraculous year where he plays at the potential that most people thought he had, but you're not paying him over the top.
Right.
And you're able to use that money to support your team in other ways, you end up where the Vikings are. You're 11-2.
11-2.
The quarterback got to play well though too. I mean, you can use you can use that theory and you can let him walk and get paid somewhere else. But then if McCarthy walks in and doesn't play well, that whole theory goes out the window.
Oh, no.
Correct.
Here's the deal. If this means anything to you, Addison and Jefferson became the first wide receivers in Vikings history to each pile up over 100 yards receiving in a game and each grab at least 2 touchdowns.
So that was not done by Moss and Carter, but it's done by Addison and
Jefferson.
Right, but remember, Moss and Carter played when there was something called the running game. But anyway, they blow out the Atlanta Falcons 42-21. What else happened in this?
Only because of a great fourth quarter. It was a pretty close game.
Yeah, it looked a little sketchy. I was a little nervous.
Oh,
but
sure.
then what happened is that Kirk Cousins also just played like he normally plays.
Atlanta has bigger issues than Kirk Cousins.
It was cool to
they
watch
had
him
like
throw
30 penalties and
a lot of penalties.
Their defense is awful.
The Vikings did a good job of holding them to field goals. The Vikings defense. Okay, here's what else everyone's talking about connected to this ball game. I don't know what this means, But everyone was laughing and touching themselves because when they intercepted Kirk Cousins at one point or another, they did something called the white chicks dance. You know how the defenses always have to have some silliness happen when they turn the ball over? Were you guys familiar, Josh? Were you familiar with the white chicks dance?
100%.
You were? A lot of these dances this year I haven't recognized.
Yeah.
Is it Bynum that comes up with them?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, he did the ray gun dance.
Yeah, and there was something else he did too earlier. But
like a Parent Trap or something?
That's what it was.
Yep.
My wife recognizes those. I had asked too. Like I figured it was something.
I remember the movie when it came out, starring all of the Wayans family.
I didn't watch it.
And somehow I never got around to watching the movie White Chicks.
Fairly terrible.
Oh my gosh, you guys would love it. This
No,
is
you
like
wouldn't.
I feel like this is right up your alley.
Well, I do like the Wayans family. I do.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I normally do. Curtis Cousins has now thrown 7 interceptions without a touchdown pass in there anywheres. And they booed his ass. I love this headline. Vikings fans ruthlessly boo Kirk Cousins for looking out for his family. I love that.
Oh, shut up.
I love
Kirk Cousins, who makes his return to Minneapolis, coming off probably the worst 3-game stretch of his career, trying to get back on track today.
So the article goes on to say, you know, you have to try to remember, fans, he wanted to stay here and play quarterback. The Vikings told him no. But yet he returns and he's booed. You see how that works?
It's all in good fun, though. That's a part of sports.
It's the blind, homeristic type behavior, which you see a lot of sports fans display. But they booed him upside down, and he looks like he's about cooked. Now, the Atlanta Falcons head coach says that he will remain as their starting quarterback, even though he obviously blows.
When Kirk Cousins was walking into the tunnel, the Vikings fans that were around the tunnel, I watched the video, they cheered for him, and he gave a little salute when he was leaving.
So there's a handful of people.
Yeah.
He'll be back in 2 years as J.J. McCarthy's backup, and everybody will love him.
That'd be hilarious. I can't stand the sight of the guy. I can't stand the sight of the guy. But you know, it wasn't as if he walked out on Minnesota to make more money or anything like that. I mean, they told him they didn't want him around. But it's, as Ashley said, that's just how it goes. Folks don't care. If you're wearing a wrong-colored jersey, they're going to boo you.
Right.
But, I mean, they just turned it on there at the ass end of the game, ended up winning by a hell of a lot. They host the Chicago Bears coming up a week from tonight on Monday Night Football. Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, they call it Monday Night Football.
Whiteout game.
Oh, you can't miss that. You can't miss. Everyone wears a white T-shirt. The opposition, it confuses them. It almost guarantees victory.
I almost think I have a theory about this. Do you think maybe teams do this in an effort to sell expensive white jerseys?
No.
That can't be it, Dana.
Dana.
It's like a unity thing. It's like a solidarity thing.
That was
It's
ridiculous.
not always about money, Dana.
It's not about money. I can't stand it. Josh and I can't stand it when people think that what we do here at this radio station is all about money. I don't like to talk about money. I like to talk about Arthur's Jewelers.
Yes, you do. Nicolay Law.
Nicolay Law. I like to talk about.
Food.
I like
Cub
to talk
food.
about Nickum Dogs.
Liquors.
Yeah, you're
and Josh,
Water systems, yes.
what is it, Randy?
Aquarius, home services.
Yeah, that's money.
They're great.
As I sit here in the Chris Lindahl studio, maybe you'll hear me talk about Apollo Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You know? Maybe American Pressure. But you're not going to, maybe Xfinity. But not money for this radio
you don't like that.
Infuriating.
What else happened yesterday? Let me get to this now. The Kansas City Chiefs clinched the American Football Conference Western Division.
I hate them. They were so close to losing again. Why can't they just lose?
Straight time.
They kicked a walk-off field goal. They beat the Los Angeles Chargers in that ball game. It's just obnoxious, and at this point, nobody cares anymore.
9 straight times they've won it.
It's gotten to the point where nobody cares.
The kick will come from Matthew Wright. This is for the division, for the Chiefs. And Wright! For the division! It's the break for the division for the Chiefs!
It wasn't. It wasn't nearly that exciting.
Chill out.
It wasn't nearly that exciting. That guy should lose his job. Real quick, back to, Captain Deathrock's being booed in his return to Minnesota yesterday, even though, he wanted to stay here. He left because the Vikings told him to. A listener reminded me by text that Matthew Stafford got the same reception when he came back to Detroit playing for the LA Rams. And I remember that, where there were some Lions fan, boo, you son of a bitch! And there were others in the crowd going, wait a minute, they threw him out.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
That's what Twins fans did to A.J. Pierzynski, too.
Well, yeah, but he was a prick.
Well, a little bit, but we traded. I mean, same premise. We traded him.
Yeah, but he was a prick. They booed him because he was a prick. What else happened yesterday? The New York Jets were eliminated from playoff, what's the word I'm looking for? Consideration that extends now the longest postseason drought in American pro sports, another topic that nobody cares about. Eagles running back Saquon Barkley set a franchise record, the single-season rushing mark. He set it yesterday, breaking a record that was held by LaShawn McCoy.
And that's also, that's 4 games before the end of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's got a chance to break the all-time NFL record.
Yes, but does it count, Brad?
Record. What do you mean, does it count?
If he breaks Eric Dickerson, here's the deal. Not only did Barkley break the Eagles' single-season rushing record, but he is on pace to break the NFL's single-season rushing record, the NFL, not just his team, but the entire NFL, the record held by Eric Dickerson, who, no matter what happens, is still the single coolest-looking football player to ever live.
Right.
If you don't know who Eric Dickerson is, look at a picture of him when he played, and you're going to say, that's the coolest-looking football player who has ever lived. Okay, does it count when Barkley gets 17 games, Dickerson only got 16?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you can make that point, but at the end of the day, still got more yards, though.
It's different than 14 games, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So, it's close.
The New York Giants are terrible. They played a home game yesterday. Somebody rented an airplane and towed a curtain behind it. What do they call that thing that hangs behind it?
A banner, sock, whatever.
Yeah, someone rented a plane, and they flew a plane over the stadium with a banner piling out the ass end of it, and it said on the banner, Mr. Mara, they're referring to the co-owner, a guy by the name of John Mara. Mr. Mara, enough. Please fix this dumpster fire. Oh, shut up. Tonight we'll find out what happens when The Simpsons mixes with Monday Night Football.
I'm excited
Oh,
for this.
heck yeah.
This will be fun.
Yep.
Where do you find this? What channel is it?
ESPN.
Oh, it's not on a special channel? So, like how Nickelodeon, you can watch it... Do I know what I'm talking about here? These days, don't they have the regular broadcast and then the special wacky broadcast?
Yeah.
The Manning cast.
Right. So is this... I'll just look it up.
It's probably on ESPN2 or something like that.
Tonight, when you watch Monday Night Football, in whatever channel it's on.
Disney Plus for sure. They'll stream it. And then ESPN Plus.
But is that what they're doing? They're going to do a regular one, and then if you want to be silly, you turn on the Simpsons version.
I'm assuming the regular broadcast won't have the Simpsons.
Right. So they're going to have all kinds of Simpsons animation and Kermit. Now I can't think of any of the characters.
Kermit is incorrect. Homer
and Bart. And,
Lisa, Marge.
Right.
Oh, what's the drunk guy? Why can't I think of his name?
Barney.
Yeah, maybe Barney will be a part of it.
Yeah, Mo.
Did you hear about this, Brad and Randy? The Simpsons are going to go ahead with, and they're going to be part of Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear. I just heard about it now.
Oh, my gosh. I wonder if they're going to use Maggie. That'll be fun.
She doesn't talk.
Do you watch The Simpsons ever, Brad?
Yeah, I have.
Remember that scene where Peter and Brian were fighting over that old record, The Bird is the Word?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Remember we got in trouble for playing that?
That was crazy. Peter and the chicken and the record and Homer and Marge and everybody.
So you've got the regular broadcast and you have the Manning cast because they're on tonight, and you have this.
Is that right?
A lot of casts.
Holy
You got
balls.
batteries in the remote, I guess.
Right. Well, they're trying to get people away from watching Buck and Aikman, apparently. But
So in the end, there's 3 different ways to watch. I didn't.
Yeah.
That's
Probably
crazy.
DVR all 3 of them.
And they had the old record. The bird is the word, and Bart didn't like it, and then Mo and Barney. Hey, the Golden Gopher Football Club going to play gross. They're going to play in the Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl in Charlotte, North Carolina, coming up on January 3rd. This is what I was afraid.
Yeah, they're like one of the last regular bowl games of the bowl season. That's late.
Yeah, this is what I was afraid of, though, playing in this Mayonnaise Bowl. It's just disgusting.
Duke's Mayo Lovin' Jesus texted in and said he's pretty excited.
No, I bet he is.
Because I want the Gophers to win. Now I want to see PJ get absolutely annihilated.
I was looking into possibly going to this game, and the huge thing that makes me not want to is the fact that there's going to be so much mayo.
Right. There's a few of us on the program, Randy Shaver, that are opposed to this because of how disgusted we are by even small amounts of mayonnaise, let alone, like I said earlier, there's going to be multiple shots of college kids drinking mayonnaise and spooning it into their friggin' faces, and at the end of the game, the coach takes the bucket of mayo. I can't handle this. I wish they were playing in a different bowl game.
I love mayo, but this is just too far.
January 3rd, it's a Friday night game. Friday night game.
Apparently it was one of the lower payout games, which, I guess it doesn't matter to fans, but
They pay the schools in Mayo.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah.
PJ Fleck hasn't lost a bowl game yet. I've been reminded by March Madness Jesus. I love PJ. And this will be fun.
So just a reminder, the winning coach sits in a chair and they douse him with a cooler of mayo after the game.
I will not still be tuned into the game when that moment comes.
Oh, yes, you will.
No, I will not. No, I will not. I'm disgusted by what. Did you not just hear everything?
You're not disgusted. It's just all come on.
No, he actually has a serious problem with mayo. Him and Dana.
I don't like any condiments.
Condiments.
Yeah, they have like a serious,
you don't like
serious issue
mustard on brats or anything like that?
We've been over this.
There are exceptions, Brad. There are exceptions. It's not just I'm not 100% all against all condiments all the time. But big, large barrels of mayo being spilt and spooned into somebody's mouth, that's repulsive to me. You're going to have to just accept it, Randy Shaver. I will change the channel before the coach takes a mayonnaise bukkake party.
Didn't have to put it like
then you're missing the best part.
The mayonnaise bukkake?
Send me a link. Josh, speaking of puke, Josh was mentioning earlier during the Big Ten championship game Saturday night, a Penn State player puked and rallied. I guess you could say he left it all out on the field, right, Josh?
He did.
If you're watching the game, a linebacker for Penn State by the name of Kobe King, he's getting lined up there for a play, and nerves or something, because it was in the first quarter. Maybe it was nerves. He just sprayed the field, and then Oregon scored a touchdown.
Ugh.
Yeah, see, that's the way I feel about mayonnaise.
Go watch the video on 93x.com, Randy.
Didn't bother Oregon at all that he spit his dinner all over the field. They went ahead and scored a touchdown.
No, and Oregon end up being the number one seed in the playoffs.
So. Penn State lost, but they won.
Yeah, that's the deal now.
The Big Ten, well represented. It'll be kind of fun.
Am I the only one who had no idea that this was coming, this playoff thing?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I didn't know it started this early.
I don't follow. I watch the Golden Gophers. I don't watch like the college football show in the afternoon.
There's some controversy about how the teams are seeded and how they did it the first year, and they're going to have to change this because they gave automatic buys to conference champions, and just in summary, that's kind of where the controversy is this year. You've got teams
why is that controversial?
Well, they don't do that in the NCAA basketball tournament, Randy. Just because you win your conference doesn't mean you get like a higher seed. They seed you 1 through 64.
Here we go, everybody. Yep. I don't know anything about it. I didn't even know this was coming.
I think you can get in the tournament. You can get in the 12-team tournament by winning your conference. I don't have a problem with that. But if you're telling me that Arizona State is better than Tennessee or Ohio State or Penn State, no way. Or Boise State is better than Tennessee or Ohio State, no.
Did this happen last year?
No, because it was only 4 teams.
First year.
I didn't know it was coming. Here's the college football playoff setup. You got Tennessee playing Ohio State. You got Texas playing Clemson. And then if they move on, they'll meet Oregon and Arizona State, one or the other kind of a thing. Notre Dame and Indiana. How did that happen, that Notre Dame's going to play Indiana?
That'll be a good game.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Penn State, Southern Methodist University. Huh?
Crazy. I said the fact Indiana's even in this thing is just crazy. It's awesome.
Good for them. Penn State and Southern Methodist, and then also Georgia and Boise State are in there. That's all coming up in a couple weeks, but before then, they'll fire up the rest of the bowls. Like, say, the Celebration Bowl, the Salute to Veterans Bowl, the Frisco Bowl, Boca Raton Bowl, La Bowl. What's the La Bowl, Josh?
The L.A. Bowl?
Are you thinking L.A., perhaps?
The New Orleans Bowl, Cure Bowl, Gasparilla Bowl, Myrtle Beach Bowl, Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Hawaii Bowl, Game Above Sports Bowl, Rate Bowl, 68 Ventures Bowl, Armed Forces Bowl, Birmingham Bowl, Liberty Bowl, Holiday Bowl, Las Vegas Bowl, Fenway Bowl, Pinstripe Bowl, New Mexico Bowl, Pop-Tarts Bowl, Arizona Bowl, Military Bowl, Alamo Bowl, Independence Bowl, Music City Bowl, ReliaQuest Bowl, Sun Bowl, Citrus Bowl, Texas Bowl,
Gator Bowl.
And then the playoffs. The playoffs include the Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, Cotton Bowl, and then the National Championship game.
I got to tell you, Nick, when LA Fitness first came to town, I called it La Fitness probably the first month it was here.
So it's not La Bowl?
No, I've done that myself.
It's the LA Bowl?
Yeah.
Love it.
I just thought it was like a fancy name for a gym.
Isn't that Gronk's bowl? Didn't Gronkowski have a bowl last year?
I don't remember.
I think it used to be the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
Yeah.
The Jibby Kimmel Bowl.
Jimmy.
Well, there you go. There's always going to be arguments about this college football. I don't care enough to get into it. If you're mad, you're mad. If you're not, you're not. I'll watch the ball games and have some fun. I don't give a rat's ass if Boise State is better than Tennessee or any of this. That's just how I'm wired. Sorry if you're mad, Brad Rucker.
No, I'm not. I'm not mad. They just need to redo how they seed these things, I think.
I don't think they're going to.
Oh. Well, Brad says that they're going to.
Oh, but Brad doesn't know.
Yeah, Randy, he disagrees.
The Power 5 conferences might have something to say about this.
I don't think so.
All right.
Timberwolves on the road all weekend in San Francisco. They beat the Golden State Warriors Friday night. They got beat last night. Now, I know I should be satisfied. I should be satisfied with a split with the Wolves on the road.
Shouldn't be satisfied with the split. They should have won last night, too.
I'm pissed about the way last night's game ended.
They didn't score the last, 440 of the game?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what happened if you didn't see it. The Wolves took a little bit of a lead in the fourth quarter because they were moving the ball. Nickeil Alexander-Walker got red hot shooting the basketball, but then Anthony Edwards decided for some reason that he needed to save the day. So he stopped sharing the basketball. He decided to go 1-on-5 against the Warriors. He threw up terrible shots. The Wolves didn't score a bucket on about 6 straight possessions, and they lost by 8. I love Edwards just like everybody else here in town, but he still lacks maturity and makes questionable decisions. I was pissed watching him operate in the final 3-4 minutes of last night's ball game.
I'd be A1 from day one.
Not last night, you weren't.
Bring your ass.
I'll bring my ass over there and show you how to pass the basketball. If they keep moving the ball and looking for the best shots possible, maybe they win last night's game. Like I said, Walker got hot, and Edwards seemed to decide that he'd seen enough of Walker's shooting. It was time for him to clank bizarre fadeaway three-pointers off the backboard. It was silly.
Yeah.
You saw the same thing, Randy and Brad?
It's the superstar mentality that I'm going to be the one that's going to take the shots that win the game as opposed to what's the best shot for the team. I totally agree with what you're saying. Very frustrating to watch. This team does so many good things on the floor when they're playing together, especially on the defensive end. But last night to score only 16 points in the fourth quarter, that's embarrassing. And they're better than that. Mm-hmm. And you're right. The ball, it gets down to isolation basketball in the last 3-4 minutes of a close game, as opposed to let's keep moving the basketball like we did the first 42 minutes of the game, where we were playing consistently and being very good offensively. So It's frustrating. There's
You
no
know
doubt.
that's not what Chris Finch is drawing up.
No, gosh, no.
You know that's not what he wants. But then, and I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but then when this happens for a prolonged period of time, that's what ends up costing coaches jobs.
Yeah, and then, Nikhil Alexander-Walker was sitting there going, how come I didn't touch the ball for the last 5 minutes of the ball game when I just got done hitting about 5 consecutive shots? Where'd the basketball go? Next up, they have the Lakers coming into town Friday night. Now, that game was added to the schedule because they missed out on that NBA Cup tournament, which is heartbreaking.
Right. This is a week where everybody, I think the max number of games for a team this week is 2. I mean, it's this kind of a week where you kind of catch your breath because they're playing this tournament. So I think the quarterfinals and semifinals or quarterfinals this week or whatever it is. So the schedule's pretty light this week in the NBA.
Yeah, that's how they set it up, Randy Shaver. San Antonio Spurs forward Zach Collins got himself fined $35,000 for dumping the middle finger at a ref on Friday night. That was funny.
Ooh. Zach Collins telling the official, you're number 1.
They were playing the Sacramento Kings. He got called for a foul, earned a couple of technicals with his jaw jacking, and then got ejected for throwing the middle finger at the ref. That was cute.
You like that?
That's the same fine, $35,000. That's the same fine that Russell Westbrook of the Denver Nuggets and the Wolves' Anthony Edwards had to pay out earlier for the same hand gesture. Now, the difference was Westbrook flipped off the New York Knicks bench, and A1 from day one flipped off the damn basket because one of his shots didn't fall.
I don't think that's like the others.
Westbrook got more of his money's worth, I think.
Oh, yeah. But damn, that Collins kid was pissed off. Man, that was funny. Good video. Is that up on our website?
Yes, it is.
Dig it. Golden Gopher men's basketball plays at Indiana tonight, 5:30 on the Big Ten channel. Golden Gopher men's hockey shut out Michigan.
Yes, that's apparently the truth.
Golden Gopher men's hockey shut out Michigan both nights over the weekend. They swept the Pricks 6-0 on Friday, 1-0 on Saturday, 2-0 if you count embarrassing empty net goals. They look pretty damn solid. Pigs get going tomorrow night. Where do they play tomorrow night? Utah? That's so stupid that they have a team in Utah. Right now on the Luther Bloomington Kia text line, I'll tell you the word, holiday. HOLIDAY. Text holiday to 651-989-9393 for a chance to win tickets to the Pigs and Florida Panthers Wednesday, December 18th at the X. Oh, wow. Plus, you're qualified for a 1.5 carat diamond from Arthur's Jewelers. A diamond for her. That would be so sweet. Arthur's Jewelers with 10,000 outstanding gifts. Arthur's is your one-and-done store for holiday gifts. Nice people over there. Obviously, the prize is sponsored by the Wild and Arthur's Jewelers. So the word again is holiday, 651-989-9393. Maybe you'll find yourself at the rink here in a week and a half to see the boys play the Florida Panthers. So here you go, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder. Now you need $765 million sitting around if you want to sign the top free agent, how do you call it, baseball player.
Yeah.
Crazy.
If you missed it, Juan Soto agreed. 15 years, $765 million is what the New York Metropolitans are giving him in trade to come over there and play some baseball.
Just makes me sick to my stomach at this point.
It's just
what do you do with that much? What do you do?
It doesn't. Yeah, but I was watching the Wolves game last night, and Jim Pete was talking about this deal, and I think he's right. The losers in this are going to be the fans. This game, the sports in general, it's so out of whack with what regular people can pay, and it's the prices of these players. It's just amazing to me, and we're already desensitized to all this anyway. But this number, this 15%, it's almost $1 billion contract. That's insane.
$51 million a year to play baseball.
I mean, what are we doing? I understand, but come on, it's just freaking baseball when it comes down to it.
Here's the thing, though. Don't blame the player. I mean,
I'm not blaming the players.
Yeah, no, I'm telling
I'm
fans,
worried about the game itself.
Yeah, I know. But it's, if the TV money is that big where the owners can pay it and that's what they are able to pay, then something else is out of whack. It's not the players.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the owners aren't going to pay that kind of money unless they have that kind of money.
Right.
So, the money's there. There's no doubt about it. The money's there. But it's just, at some point, don't you feel like the whole thing's going to collapse? It just feels like it's just getting so crazy out of whack.
All right, it's a little out of control. I'll admit it. When a guy gets handed $765 million, it's a little out of control.
I'd rather the player have than the owner just pocket it, because like Brad said, they're clearly making that revenue.
Oh.
Yes. So if he makes $50 million a year, this is just a really rough one equation here, and he had 576 at bats last year. He's making $87,000 every time he steps to the plate next year.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, some dude right now is under the hood of his 89 Ford Taurus trying to get that sumbitch to run so he can go to work today. You know what I mean?
His third job.
And his wife is screaming, "Get the car fixed!" And he already cut his knuckles up, on the hood of the. And the kids are inside. All right. Good for you, Juan Soto. Like Randy says, Randy, you said something about being desensitized. I'm totally and completely desensitized to this kind of thing. I have zero reaction. Zero reaction.
Although this number is, the numbers are staggering. They really are when you think about the numbers right now. Other than Ohtani, Soto is probably the best hitter in the game right now. So...
Fair enough.
Not like he doesn't deserve it.
I don't care. I really don't care. And I haven't cared for years what these guys are making because it's been ridiculous for decades already. How about this conversation? A 16-year-old Australian kid. He's got an interesting name. Gout.
Oh, you've been there before.
Yes.
Folks are calling him the next Usain Bolt. Now, Randy Shaver, you got to help us out with this. Is this impressive? It says here he ran a 10.4 100-meter foot race.
How old is he?
16.
Wow. Yeah.
I thought it was fun. Yeah. I couldn't really care less about track and field, especially Iowa State track and field from the late 70s. But I thought it was fun that a kid who can cut loose with record times in a foot race is named after a terrible foot problem. His name is Gout.
Gout. Gigi. I like that.
I have gout, and gout hurts. I can only imagine how painful it might be to have gout.
That's double the gouts.
Do you know this kid, Josh? Do you know Gout?
Not until this story. I wasn't familiar with him. I wonder if I should look up the meaning of that. Maybe it must mean something else.
Well, yeah, go ahead. See if you can find anything. 10.4.
Is it spelled G-O-U-T?
Yeah.
In 10.4 seconds, he ran a 100-meter. That's pretty fast.
Wow, that's impressive.
Well, they might change. His dad has said that he might change the spelling of his son's name because it's pronounced Gwot, where he's from, G-W-O-T.
It's pronounced
now they realize all the jokes, and so they might change the way it's spelled.
Gwot?
Yeah, Gwot.
Not that I'm not...
I'd roll with it. Why? Why not?
I don't know. I'm certainly I've heard that kind of a thing before. Manute Bol's son's name is Bol. I grew up. One of my oldest friends comes from a Greek family, and his older brother's first name is the same as the last name. I don't want to say their names out loud because maybe they never liked me, but I certainly was tight with one of the boys in the family. But give me a Greek last name.
Papanopoulos.
Yeah, the dude's name is Papanopoulos. So I've heard of this thing before, just never one that made my feet tingle. But when I hear gout, I reel a little bit because that stuff hurts.
Well, that's impressive, that time, and that's kind of scary when you think about what was the kid's name in the Olympics? Was it Quincy Hall, the young 15-year-old or whatever it was.
I couldn't tell you.
400 meters. I mean, the kid ran a sub 44. I mean, that's insane for that age. That's crazy.
One of our most fascinating listeners, local wrestling legend referee Rob Page, gave me a heads up on this here deal last week. Jesse the Body Ventura made a surprise appearance at Target Center Friday night for the SmackDown show that just rolled through town. He ended up on television. It was his first WWE television appearance in more than a decade. And now Jess will be a regular announcer. Well, Jess will be on television again for the return of a program called Saturday Night's Main Event, which will be televised this Saturday night. The Body's back on television, calling matches for the WWE. I think that's very exciting because that he was one of the reasons that I was drawn into television wrestling in the first place.
How long has it been since he's been regularly wrestling?
Oh, wrestling?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, he's not wrestling.
No, he's just saying things into a microphone on television. And if you were listening only about 45 seconds ago, Ashley, you would have heard that it was his first television appearance in more than a decade.
More than a decade, okay.
But you were obviously thinking about somebody else. Or something else.
Gout.
I can't get him off my mind.
Hebner's counting slow, McMahon. He loved that. He was always calling referee Earl Hebner out for counting slow.
He hated Hebner.
But Jesse had a comment on Twitter. He said, "It's an honor to be back. It really is an honor. Thank you, Triple H, for making the impossible possible."
Calm down.
I'm looking forward to entertaining all my old wrestling fans and making some new ones. I want to make some new fans. But that was so much fun for me as a kid. Jess, I specifically like Jess alongside Gorilla Monsoon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gorilla was so.
Now, if you want to be nitpicky about it, Gorilla and Bobby Heenan were obviously the ultimate tandem. And then fast forward, of course, Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler certainly rival that. But Gorilla and Jesse were the most fun together. Vince McMahon and Jesse, they were okay. But Gorilla and Jess. The old Saturday Night's Main Event debuted in 1985. And that was Body and Vince on the call. So I'll have to check that out. I haven't seen that kind of thing in a long time. Finally, before we go, everybody, Friday night, some cat by the name of Justin Watson went ahead. And, you all right, Randy?
Randy Watson.
You love that bit.
I do.
I do.
I believe the children are our future. Treat them well and let them something. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride. That's Randy Watson in Sexual Chocolate singing The Greatest Love of All from the 1988 documentary called Coming to America. Justin Watson went ahead and delivered the fastest knockout in combat sports history.
This is up on 93x.com.
Okay?
Ready? The bell right ahead from Justin Watson. We are done just like that. That just might be the fastest knockout in BKFC history. And Sean, it has to be the first punch. Watson.
You heard the audio right there. Bell, shot to the mush, over. Watson was...
That sounds rigged.
Maybe it was rigged. He was facing some poor bastard called Cole Farrell at an event called Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 69 in Atlanta, Georgia. As soon as the bell rang to start round one, Watson took one step forward, dumped a right hand into this Farrell's skull, and the dude went down.
Sounded like Cole Farrell wanted out.
Well, he did try to get up. If this was rigged, I'll give whoever Cole Farrell is a lot of credit for acting like he wanted to get up. But his marbles were no longer lined up properly, and he was done. Check out the video, like Ashley said.
Oh, yeah, the ref kind of does, hold him down and keep him from getting up. And then when he does get up, he's wobbly like he's been drinking all day.
He's kind of confused, too. Like, what? I did not pass out.
What are you talking about? I took a little cat nap. I just closed my eyes for a little bit.
Just sleeping.
2 seconds, Cubby. It's all it took, 2 seconds.
Wow.
I've lost fights in shorter amounts of time than that.
That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, I'd imagine I could probably lose quicker than that.
Yeah.
Maybe just like the wind from the approaching punch, change in air pressure. I got this glass jaw, you know.
But that's why when we go out on the weekends, Josh always wears glasses.
Oh, yeah, smart.
Nobody's going to hit a guy with glasses.
Right.
Right.
All right, you two, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder. We told you there was a lot to cover. I hope
it was a lot. Mm-hmm. Crazy.
I hope you think that we were able to get through it maturely.
We got through it.
Yeah. Thanks, you goofy bastards.
All right.
We'll talk to you later. Hey, text in, by God. Our number is 651-989-9393. Our doctor friend is headed in, and he can help you out if you're feeling funny. Again, the number is 651-989-9393. Dr. P. Jesus is coming up next on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
There's a douchiness to them. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving money with Easy Pass. Free transponders plus lower tolls make Easy Pass the perfect holiday gift. Visit driveezmd.com to get yours today.
Dr. P. Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'll be damned. It's 8:22 here Monday morning, 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. We appreciate you listening so damn much. And we got one of our oldest pals in studio to talk a little bit, Dr. P. Jesus. Good morning, James.
I'm not that old.
No, you're hanging in there.
Just look that way.
Yeah, I know,
you're
right?
not that old.
You do look a lot older than you are.
Yeah.
Do I?
Has anyone ever told you that before?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've looked older than I am since I was.
We're just
since
kidding.
I was a teenager. No, but I really.
No, we're joking.
I was the guy that could get us in to see the R-rated movies. Like,
all right,
these are my children.
Did you have facial hair really early?
No. I just looked manly. I think manly and mature.
Hell yeah, you do.
What about were you the guy that bought beer then?
I tried not to do that. I remember the guys that I would talk into buying beer for us. I was a traitor in that sense. When I got to be that age, I'm like, I'm not buying that guy for you guys. What are you talking about?
Oh, come on. You got to pay it forward, pay it back.
Dude, I get it, Dr. P. I was the same way.
That
I
was
always told people, like, especially my friends, because they were younger than me, I'm like, you just wait. Once I turn 21, I'll be the one that buys everybody booze. Yeah, that was not the case.
Well, I was that guy.
Call.
I didn't want to get in trouble.
I was that guy. Right. And then I saw how one of these younger people operated when really drunk. I went out. The younger, it was a friend of mine's younger brother.
Yeah.
The once we all turned 21, a friend of mine's younger brother who I really liked said, would you buy us beer? I said, hell yeah. I was all excited to be that guy that the younger kids could rely on. Hell yeah, because I wanted that person in my life. Sometimes they were there, sometimes they were not. So I went out and bought beer for these kids, and I saw how a couple of them operated. Scared the hell out of me, never did it again. I said, I'm going to end up in jail the way these effing guys. So, here's the thing, Dr. P. You're gorgeous, man.
Thank you.
We're joking with you saying that.
I know.
But I'll tell you what, if you got the goatee thing kind of happening, if you went down to just the mustache, then you would, right, Josh? Just the mustache, I bet you would look a lot older than you really are.
Probably.
There's something about wearing...
I look like my dad.
Right? Yeah. Don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, mustache can do that.
There's something about just the mustache.
You know who's trying to look like you? Fred Durst.
Oh, yeah.
Well, right. Yeah, we've been chasing each other for years. Lyrics and look.
Yeah.
But you do still have all of your hair, which is wonderful.
And frustrating.
You should consider yourself very lucky.
I do feel lucky.
651-989-9393. If you have any questions for Dr. James Parnell, Dr. Jesus. He'll help you out as best he can. Here, for starters, here's a guy that must listen to your segment regularly on this program because they have a question about snoring.
Okay.
That was a joke that went nowhere.
Oh,
Ashley, mark that joke off. I won't use it again.
Take that off the podcast.
Is there any good cure for snoring, a listener wants to know, besides those god-awful CPAP machines?
Well, there are a few things. For some people, it's simply positional, like if they're on their back, they snore. And the reason is because snoring is the soft tissues in your throat sort of collapsing when you're sleeping, when they're relaxed. I mean, I think you can probably buy all sorts of variations on this on Amazon or similar these days. But if you get something in your lower back that makes it uncomfortable to sleep on your back, they used to talk about like cutting a hole through a tennis ball, putting a string, tying it around your waist. I mean, so avoiding sleeping on your back could be the simplest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a surgery that can be done, which is let's see here, uvulo-palatopharyngeoplasty, where they basically cut out all that extra tissue.
Wow.
It can help some people. It's a pretty horrifying surgery to go through. I mean, it makes a tonsillectomy look like nothing. And then there's a device that actually can be. There's like several devices at this point, I think. Little like nerve stimulators that can somehow keep the airway open at night.
Wow.
I mean, so yes, there are a whole host of things.
Yeah.
I think it depends somewhat on the severity of your. I mean, if you're just snoring, you're not going to have those things available. At least through insurance, you basically have to have sleep apnea. I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, a dental device too.
Okay.
Some people
keeps your jaw open or something like that.
Keeps your jaw forward a little bit overnight.
Isn't that something?
So there are a whole host of things. Yeah, for just snoring, you wouldn't need a CPAP machine.
Right.
If it's truly sleep apnea, then you don't want to ignore it, and you do want to have something that treats it. But the more severe the sleep apnea, then those other things like the dental device, the surgery, those nerve stimulators, they probably don't work.
Josh, are you a snorer?
No, I'm not.
Man, lucky bastard.
Yeah, it's very infrequent. Like my wife has mentioned it a couple times. For the record, she thinks it's cute.
I bet you do have cute little snores, Josh.
It appears I do, but it's very infrequent, she said.
Okay. Well, you gave out some great options there, Doctor.
Yeah, sure.
This person here says, when I stretch, my chest cracks like a knuckle. Girlfriend thinks it's not right. I say I have more important things to worry about. Should I be concerned?
Probably not. I mean, it's probably the junction between a rib and the sternum.
I'm wondering. So I went to a chiropractor for I went to go. I thought once, and then they have you back like 3 times a day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I went for a couple months, and he cracked my chest, which it freaked me out the first. I wasn't expecting it, and since then I can crack it.
Really?
Ever since he did it the first time, yeah.
Yeah, he loosened up the articulation between the rib and the sternum. It was probably really stiff before, so now that it's loose, you can move it around a little bit. I would say it's the same as standing up and twisting your spine and cracking that. It's, it's debatable whether it's bad for you. If you ask your mother, it is bad for you. Ask a doctor, we say, I don't think it's that bad. But yeah, if it's not terribly painful, if it's in the same place every time, it's the same as cracking a knuckle or your spine.
So worry about all those other things he's got going on.
Yeah, it's probably a long list.
All kinds of things crack and pop these days on me. Hard to even tell where it's coming from sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes like you stand up and you're wondering.
And it is, in terms of why it seems to get worse as you get older, I guess I assume it's just because bones, we get degeneration of joints. I mean, when we're newly formed and young, all the joints are smooth and the tendons are a little bit more flexible that are holding muscles to bone and the ligaments holding the bone to bone, and then that all just gets rough and you get little fluid pops.
Fluid.
Oh,
I
gosh.
got fluid on everything these days.
Yeah, right.
That's my favorite ice cream treat, the fluid pop.
My dad's in his 70s, and so watching him stretch is painful to watch. And actually, the day after I saw him stretch, he was stuck there for a little bit. I came in and asked Nick, I said, "Are you old enough yet where stretching isn't fun for you?"
Well, you guys have seen me. I mean,
it's a violent process.
It overtakes my entire being. I can't hear. I can't see for a brief period of time when I'm stretched. Okay. And the fluid buildup, I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. I've got fluid that just wasn't there 5 years ago, but now I'm covered in fluid. Here's something I hope you really like, Dr. P. Jesus.
I'm sure I will.
Asking for a friend, a listener says. Best way to clear warts or an HPV infection from the genital area and not spread it to other partners. Clearing up warts or an HPV infection from the genital area.
Yeah, for a friend, right. I mean, basically,
you're familiar with the genital area.
I am. I've heard of it. Yes. Yep. Below the belt, above the knees.
Depends on how lucky you are, but go on.
True enough. True enough. True. Above the ankles. I mean, technically, any wart is an HPV infection. So that's the thing. We talk about HPV, the ones that are primarily sexually transmitted and can cause cervical changes for women, that are of concern. But truly, any wart is caused by human papillomavirus. There's just many, many variations. So, I mean, to get rid of actual warts that are there, pretty much the treatment is to wait. I mean, a lot of times they will go away, but it'll be a very long time. There are a number of caustic treatments, whether it is using liquid nitrogen, which you have to do that at the doctor's office. There are topical chemicals that can be prescribed. I mean, there are over-the-counter topical chemicals. Basically, it's things that irritate, kill the tissue, and try to get that virus to sort of get out of there.
Boy, I think probably all of us have taken that liquid nitrogen in our lifetimes for warts on on your hands, right? I mean, I know I had that when I was a kid.
I've never had any.
Taking that liquid nitrogen down on your gear.
It's I'd say most people don't tolerate it too well.
Ooh.
That's why there's some topical chemicals that you can prescribe that you put on at home, basically just because it's better tolerated. But again, that gets rid of those particular warts. I mean, we don't have any treatments that get rid of HPV fully. I mean, so you'll always be potentially spreading them, spreading HPV, even if you don't actively have warts. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. I mean, the best thing that is available to hopefully prevent that is, there's HPV vaccine that's been out for, I don't even know, 15 years or something, that kids get. And normally it is kind of restricted to younger people, but I think pretty much anybody can get it. It's whether it's covered for by your insurance, that kind of thing. But it is a good idea. I mean, it leads to awkward conversations because you give it to, kids who are
gross.
Preteen, and so you're like, okay, we're gonna give you this vaccine to prevent sexually transmitted disease, and mom and dad are like, what? My kid's never gonna do anything like that, and you're like, well, yeah, no. I mean, it's part of being a responsible future sexual partner, So but it really is important.
Okay.
And the earlier the better, just because if you don't get the vaccine before you're exposed, you're not going to get the immunity to prevent it.
Yeah, I remember getting those vaccines, and when the doctor told my parents were a little weirded out at first, but then he mentioned all the other benefits, like cancer and stuff like that.
Right. It is. It's still an awkward conversation in primary care. You have to get a parent.
You're hinting
of a kid to think about their future sexual life.
Yeah, right.
I'm a little worried that I never got it. Do you think the doctor's like, I think your son's sick?
No, it didn't exist when you.
No one's going to bang this one.
Nor when I was a kid.
I don't remember that either. When I I don't.
Yeah. No, it hasn't been around. It's too old.
Okay.
Yeah, you said 15 years.
It could be longer than that now. I lose track of time, but certainly, I don't think it's more than 20 years.
That's
so,
why
still.
people from me and Cubby's generation are hauling herpes around town.
Yeah, you're welcome, younger generation.
Yeah, right.
So this gentleman says, I'm having surgery to remove polyps from my cervix for the second time. They said getting a hysterectomy is an option, so I don't have to keep getting the polyps removed. Then he goes on to say, should I do it? I'm done having kids, he said.
Yeah, and that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard him.
Okay.
Go ahead, be
Do
a
I not
doctor.
understand how bodies work?
Did you see the look he gave me, Josh?
Yeah, I know. I mentioned the guy's cervix, the
and
hysterectomy,
polyps,
and that he's
hysterectomy.
done giving birth to children.
Yeah. I think he's probably worrying about the wrong thing. And he maybe is seeing questionable doctors. Are we actually answering
JK, yes. No, it's a lady.
Okay.
That's
Okay, so cervical polyps. You can have cervical polyps and they can be benign. The problem is...
What about some of that liquid nitrogen?
Well...
I'm kidding.
On the inside?
No.
It's pretty tough to get there.
Yeah.
They can be removed pretty simply. They can honestly be twisted off.
Oh no!
Oh,
Like
no,
a nipple.
Man, no.
Like a bottle cap?
You don't usually twist nipples off.
Nobody's twisting anything off of my cervix.
You're the doctor.
No.
Shame me on that one.
Right, sorry.
You don't normally twist nipples off.
You twist them on.
That is an
Is that how God puts them on?
Yeah, exactly.
screws them on.
Yeah.
You can twist a polyp off.
Yeah,
Let's twist again like we did last summer.
Right. Do the twist. Or they can be excised. The concern is there any atypical cells growing in there and concerns about uterine cancer, essentially. What was the other question, though? I was distracted by
she said that there was an option to get a hysterectomy, which would obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, I have no idea, but it would stop the polyps from forming. Is it something she should consider?
If they're benign polyps, I don't. You don't need to. Why are you shaking your head? Yes.
Oh no! I'm sorry.
Ashley's like,
I was actually
feeding me.
She's falling asleep.
No, I was genuinely listening to the song a little bit.
So yeah, that is the definitive way to get rid of any concerns about your cervix and uterus. And some women will go for that. Other women are like, I don't want to have something like that done, and obviously that does clearly end any childbearing ability. But yeah, I don't think an OBGYN who does that surgery would necessarily recommend it just for polyps, unless you're having abnormal bleeding or if you're getting recurrent things that are having to be where you have to have ultrasounds, you have to have biopsies, you have to have stuff like that. Then it can just be basically preventing all of that worry. That would be my thought.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Dr. P. Jesus is in studio with us here this morning. Dr. James Parnell taking questions from our wonderful listening audience. The number is 651-989-9393 if he's got a question. Now, Dr. P., have you heard of a lung treatment of some sort by the name of Mullen? The question goes like this.
Yeah, go ahead.
How legit is taking Mullen to detox your lungs?
Boy, I have not heard of that one.
Maybe that's something you can look up on the internet.
That'll be a good one.
It says it's a herb on a Google search. Herb.
She'd never heard of that one on either.
Used for centuries to support lung health and relieve respiratory symptoms.
Yeah, I'll have to see what it's made.
Wow.
I would. My first instinct would be probably avoid that. Because it's hard to imagine detoxing your.
It's an expectorant.
Okay.
Oh, so you hack everything up.
But yeah, I'll take a look. But
that sounds gory.
Yeah.
I don't know. You shouldn't really need to do that.
Spitting yellow pools of phlegm all over the house. And sorry, I took my Mullen this morning.
Yeah. There are some people who have conditions where they really are unable to get stuff out of their lungs, but I can't imagine that would be a reasonable treatment for it. A thing called bronchiectasis, where instead of having just tiny little airways as you move down into the lungs, you kind of get these cavities that form, and they can harbor a lot of mucus and infection. But there are people that have to they have these. Well, they can go to physical therapy and have chest physiotherapy, where someone's literally like banging on your chest and back to try to help clear things up.
You're just spitting all over the floor.
There's a vest you can wear that does that thumping for you.
Wow.
But I can't. Yeah. So I'll take a look though.
All right. We appreciate that. By the way, there was one listener who texted in, back to warts real quick.
Yeah.
One listener texted in and said that he has so many warts, when they treat him with that liquid nitrogen, he ends up looking like the T-1000 Terminator.
Oh, jeez.
And that's something,
I can
Josh?
picture that, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yikes.
Pickle Jesus wants to know, what is a typical resting heart rate for a woman when they're sleeping? Mine is in the mid-70s.
When they're sleeping?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we tend to say, heart rate. I mean, the range for heart rate can be huge. When you're awake, normal is really like 60 to 100. So that's a massive range.
Mm-hmm.
And she said it was in the 70s when she's sleeping.
I don't have an age or anything.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's heart rate tends to be a little slower when you're sleeping, but certainly 70s is not. I mean, some people, athletes and stuff can get down in like the 40s or lower because their heart is just sort of so efficient.
That's crazy.
If it starts to get slower than that, you worry a little bit. But I mean, I have had some athletes, especially with the invention of all the smart watches and rings and things like, things that monitor your heart rate, which nobody ever used to monitor that. But if your watch or your ring is like, you are potentially dying. No, I'm just sleeping. So people are aware of maybe a slower heart rate. But I would say it's probably a similar range. 60 to 100 is sort of the normal, maybe a little bit slower overnight. I could look up if there's like an actual
Dana,
advice.
you like to watch women while they're sleeping.
Of course, yes.
Why don't you chime in here?
Yeah. What have you seen?
Monitoring heart rates while they sleep. I'm doing it for their benefit, Josh.
Of course. You're a good guy.
Before we take a break, let's go back to Nipples.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those mysterious sumbitches. They're fascinating. Dr. P. This is a text message from Taxidermy Jesus. My nipples have been hard for as long as I can remember. I'm in my 50s now. It's embarrassing to wear a T-shirt because people always comment on it. They always say, "What are you, cold?" I know this isn't normal, but is it worth doing anything about? I've considered plastic surgery.
Oh, wow.
I am jealous.
This is a guy?
I am very jealous. I would like to switch.
Well, it's Taxidermy Jesus, so I imagine it's a dude. You're jealous of someone who walks around town with hard nipples every day?
Yes, because I don't like to wear bras often, and with the shirts that I wear, it looks better if they're at attention versus if they're just chilling.
Right. So you want to be known as the girl that's always nipping out?
That wouldn't bother me. No, because they look better when they're at attention.
Sure.
So yeah, I would love
Dana,
that.
you've got one.
This guy sounds like he would happily switch with you.
Yeah, he sure would. Yeah. I'd say most guys would definitely not like
Nipple
that.
swap.
Yeah.
And it seems like so many women go through so much effort to avoid that. But Ashley, you're on the opposite.
I mean, I think that. I mean, I believe there are probably as many women who want that look, and you can put things in your bra or shirt to make it happen, as there are who want to get rid of it by, again, putting something in your bra or shirt to cover it up. But yeah, guys clearly probably don't want that look.
That's something.
I mean, I don't. If they're always like that, it's just the way you're built, and
considered plastic surgery. I mean,
I'm not even sure what they would. Whether they literally would just remove the nipples,
bite them off,
sand them down,
twist them off.
Yeah,
they'd file them off.
I mean, because they're in
a garage,
they're everted, they're sticking out. They're not. I mean, some people have inverted nipples, but
sorry to hear that. Taxidermy cheese.
I can't imagine there'd be.
Can they move them to a less conspicuous spot?
Like your shoulders,
it's under your scalp or something.
Right. No, I don't think so.
Well,
I'm just wondering if they could. Wow, boy. Yeah, I mean, maybe a plastic surgeon would have thoughts on injecting a steroid or something in there that maybe would make the tissue atrophy, but I don't know.
Very interesting question.
Yeah.
His buddies are constantly busting his chops about it.
Yeah, that would be pretty lame.
The turkeys are done, they say, over and over again.
Then again, though, if he had something done, he'd have to be answering that question forever. Like, what changed?
Hey, you know what? To make you feel better, Taxidermy Jesus, and then also, I guess at the same time, I'm sort of making fun of someone, and I'm trying to be, neutral here and not. Chris Finch, the head coach of the Timberwolves, I think has this same problem.
Really?
He's always nipping. That's true.
Yeah. When I watch every Timberwolves game, and my wife and I. Last year, we called him Nips. When we're watching the game, I'm like, what happened? And my wife will be like, oh, Nips is upset because Edwards got a foul call.
Is he wearing a blazer, too? I mean,
he kind of wears, no.
He wears like dry fit.
Yeah, the tight athletic top with the Wolves look. He kind of, I'm just saying,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have a little bit of the same problem.
Do you?
Yeah, not constantly, but
I get,
pull him out. Let's see.
When I wear tight shirts, I think I have. What are you doing? You're playing with your damn right on the radio.
I was just pointing to them.
You rubbed them.
You're touching
Taxidermy Jesus. When I wear tight shirts, I also have. I'm showing. So I can relate a little. But I don't really I always wear loose hoodies, loose T-shirts.
Falls while peeing Jesus said he's 38. He's been nipping out the past few years. He said his lady friend says it's pretty hot. So let Taxidermy Jesus. It's cool. It's cool, looking good.
Let me just do this real quick. Yeah. Now, I haven't prepped myself. Dr. P was just prepping himself over there, playing with his damn nipples.
How dare you say that?
Underneath this zip-up hoodie, I'm wearing a white.
This is exciting.
Like a dry fit type of a long sleeve shirt.
We're gonna go.
I'm going to unveil. I have been accused before of having what, Josh?
Well, aggressive nipples, which is ridiculous. They're stately and they're perfect. But you have been accused of having aggressive.
A couple summers ago at the Minnesota State Fair, it was hotter than Dutch love, and I decided to take my shirt smooth off. I was with my wife and my sister and this kid that my sister made, and when I took my shirt all the way off, they were just aghast, specifically because of my sister called them aggressive. So I'm going to unzip this hoodie, and you guys tell me if I'm nipping out.
Wow, this is something.
Yeah,
you are. They're not terribly
You don't have aggressive nipples.
No, but you are nipping out.
Yeah, you are.
Taxidermy Jesus, if we run into each other at the bar or whatever, Taxidermy Jesus.
Tap nipples.
Talk to me, son. I know what you're talking about.
You guys should join a club.
The Hard Nipples Club.
Pointies or something.
We could come up with a song.
Hi, everybody.
Dr. P. Jesus, welcome to the Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X.
Nothing but laughs. Nothing but laughs when Dr. P. Jesus stops by the Half-Assed Morning Show. And also, of course, important information for our listeners who text in. Looking for advice on their health. 651-989-9393 is how you get a hold of us. We got time for a couple more questions here with Dr. P. Real quick, I want to go back to the subject we were discussing a few minutes ago, and that's men and women, but specifically we were talking about men whose nipples are constantly erect. It's a real problem. I have the problem. Taxidermy Jesus, one of our listeners, has a Dr. P's nipples are always hard over there.
A little bit.
Yeah. Got this text. Here's how bad it is for one of our listeners. He says he has the same problem, constantly erect nipples. In the winter, when he puts on his bib overalls, he's got to put Band-Aids on over the sumbitches or they get torn up.
Really?
Ouch.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Is it a physical sign of excellence? Maybe that's what it's for?
Yeah, you're just striving forwards.
You can tell this person is excellent.
All right, they're ready for the day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We should follow up on that Mullen or Mullane. I'm not for lungs. Just
okay. Someone texted in earlier and said Mulane, some kind of an herb for detoxing the lungs.
Detox. Yeah.
Yes.
So I had not heard of it before, but it is a hairy plant that is greenish or gray in color. But it actually, I mean, there is. It sounds like it has been used in traditional folk medicine for a long time as an expectorant. So I think you can take it as a tea. I obviously don't want to smoke it. But it has some expectorant properties. It's probably not really particularly harmful. I'd say with anything like this, it's mostly a question of whether you're actually getting what you think you're getting. I mean, we don't necessarily, again, for most people, we don't necessarily want you to go crazy coughing and getting things out of your lungs unless you have a problem doing that. So, I mean, I wouldn't advise using it, but it's probably a little safer than I thought.
All right.
It is something that, though, like kids, if they eat it for some reason, or the seeds, it can be actually toxic. So,
yikes!
You don't necessarily want to have it around.
Yeah.
I'd say there's not much reason to be using it.
Don't leave that in the fridge next to the chocolate milk or anything like that.
No.
Appreciate that, Dr. P.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Healthy Scratch Jesus said, many years ago, I had a vasectomy, and then 4 years ago, I had prostate cancer. Ended up having radical prostatectomy surgery. I was told I would have a, quote, dry orgasm, which has been true. Very weird, but also some great perks, he said.
That is weird.
Recently, however, I've had some discharge when, let's say, finishing. There's no chance of an STD, he said. So my question is this a sign of something wrong? Cancer coming back? Your thoughts?
Lot going on there.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously want to be following up for your cancer, which for prostate is going to be typically watching a PSA level, which is a blood level for an enzyme that should really only be in your blood if there is prostate tissue. And if you had a radical prostatectomy, there shouldn't be any of that left. I guess with a radical prostatectomy, I don't know whether they actually take out all of the glandular tissue that, basically contributes to semen. But if you had a vasectomy, the tubes aren't connected anyway. So, yeah, it's something that I think, you'd probably want to get into the urologist and just have that tested to see if there's something funny going on. It's probably okay, but if you've had, essentially dry orgasms for quite a while and something's changed, then I'm just not sure what it would be, though, because, that's a situation where the plumbing has been snipped and then the appliances have been removed that was connected to the plumbing, and so why is there any fluid in the plumbing other than urine? So it could be urine infection, various things like that. So good idea to get it checked.
All right.
Oh, we got to get going, but here's one more for you, Dr. P.
Sure.
I think it'll be fast, a quick one, which is why I thought we could squeeze it in before we got to go. Had a physical recently, a listener says, and my cholesterol was higher than a giraffe's ass. Was I supposed to starve the day of a cholesterol test for accurate numbers?
Yeah, that's that. Traditionally, it has been done fasting overnight.
Yeah.
Really, the only number that can affect is the triglycerides in general, which is when you get your cholesterol tested, there's total cholesterol, there's the HDL, the quote unquote good cholesterol, the LDL, quote unquote bad, and then triglycerides. And triglycerides are the free fats in your blood, basically, is the way to think of it. So, depending on what you ate in the last few days, but particularly last night, that number could be higher or lower. It doesn't really affect the other numbers, and so a lot of docs just say, you can do it fasting, but you don't have to. It doesn't really matter. The triglyceride number, unless it's sky high, you don't tend to treat or do anything about that. So depending on what numbers were elevated, pretty much if they were told their cholesterol was high, it's probably that LDL and the total, and that isn't affected by having eaten.
Okay.
We had to get physicals for work recently for insurance reasons, and I went and got mine done. And because I'm a moron, I stopped at the gas station on the way there, and I got 2 jalapeno cheddar hot dogs.
So yeah, your triglycerides were probably pretty high. Your glucose was.
The doctor said to me, she's like, "Well, you obviously haven't eaten anything today, have you?" And I was like, "No, I had cheddar hot dogs on the way here." She's like, "Ha, you're funny." I'm like, no, I'm serious.
So if you're
if you're 9 in the morning,
if it's for if it's for life insurance or things like that, you probably do want to fast. And I don't know whether your work physicals are related to anything with stuff like that, but yeah, in terms of what you do about cholesterol, it's not going to change it.
Do the same thing next time you have to go to the dentist, Dan. See what kind of reaction you get out of it.
Cheese and jalapeno.
Yeah,
we get to take out.
Stuck in your friggin' teeth.
ew, your breath is just hot.
Thanks for every damn thing once again, Dr. James Parnell.
You bet. Happy holidays.
Yeah, you too. We'll see you soon.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.